Thought we
It'd be,
were thought we talked about that already, you know? Do I need to come over and do an intervention again?
oh, shoot.
Wait, when I came over on Tuesday to come see you, I didn't know that you were going to be busy or whatever.
Oh, that's all right.
I felt kind of rude for just coming over.
Oh, no, that's all right. If I wouldn't have wanted you here, I would have said, no, don't come over. I've got company or whatever.
Well, I just figured since I told you I was going to come by after you were done with your shoot, and I tell you what, that shoot turned out pretty good.
And
I liked it.
most of the stuff isn't even in there.
Okay,
He's got to condense a whole bunch more stuff because we did a lot more downtown shots. We did more
okay.
shots here in town.
Like taking shots or actually like shooting shots?
Shoot.
Shoots,
Oh my
shit.
God. Shots.
Yeah, shucks. What me worry? Anyway, hey, it's been a while, right? I mean, I'm glad. Hey, happy you had a break a little bit. In a way, so you could focus on whatever you wanted to focus on.
Yeah.
Whatever that would be.
Well,
So.
yesterday, I think, well, besides Mark not knowing how to unmute his every fucking show, man, there's something. And
Yeah, it's either on you or it's on the guests, and it's like half and
then
half. Yeah.
and then there was something that popped up on my screen, and I went to
Uh-huh.
swipe it off, and instead of swiping it off, my finger stuck to the screen.
Oh,
So
geez.
I dropped off for a second. Oh my God.
I watched a little bit of it at the beginning because I was, curious about how you were going to do everything. And I tell you what, I wish you could do something like that for us, as far as like an intro that I could play that everybody would be able to hear with the Grand Forks Best Source logo and then our logo for Renegade Radio, like how he did your logo intro, because
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
he's not done tweaking it yet either, but you
Jeez.
do it over because he's got to talk to Paul a little bit more, but he's
Yeah.
in order like as far as using the logos and
Well, you were
stuff like
like
that.
you were like for just a Renegade Radio logo, like do something like a No Ray style, like old black and white style intro or something like that. Some of our
And
highlighted funny
I
moments
know
or something.
I don't know if he knows how to do it on Zoom. I know he can do it on the on StreamYard because that's the platform he uses. So
You know what? I have faith in Jeremy. I will never question if he can do it or not.
yeah, that's true.
I'm going to believe that he's going to be able to do it every freaking time.
He's super
You
talented.
know, because when I first met him years ago, I didn't really know much about him and didn't really think a whole lot about. Never thought we'd ever work together, do anything together. Just because I knew some of his family and stuff. But hey, there he is, the man of the hour. Oh, yeah, you
What's the
have
matter
me.
with you? What's the matter
Oh,
with you?
oh, he needs to turn on his audio.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a wireless
The
Bluetooth guy.
Bluetooth thing connects. Okay. Hey, Sean, I got an idea.
But
Ah,
yeah, yeah. Let's just mess with him and just pretend we can't hear anything. Right?
okay.
Or he can't pretend
Yeah, uh-huh.
can he read lips at all?
I'm sorry, man. God,
No, it's all right.
technology.
Oh, you
Well,
should have seen the
Technology.
beginning of my show yesterday, man.
yeah, well, I mean, it's not so bad. I mean,
I
at
think the
least
intro
it's
made up
just a
for
clip
it.
here. Uh, what type of headphones do you have anyway? Like what type of like what's your brand?
You know what I think they are? I think they're PlayStation because as soon as
Oh,
my dad said, "Oh, you're going to get Red Dead so we can play games online," I'm
uh-huh.
sending you the headphones with everything that I use. I said, "Oh,
Okay. Oh, so
okay."
you got the same stuff then. Okay, well that's good then.
Yeah,
Oh, that's maybe that was the same headset he was using when we interviewed him. Maybe.
I think so. And neither one of us still know how to use them.
Obviously.
I
Well,
know, right? Duh.
well, for this past week, I was just going to let you know too that for this past weekend show, or I was doing some. Last 2 weekends since we were, off or whatever, I included some bonus content and some stuff that people haven't seen yet or whatever. And so I included this past Saturday the interview that we did back in January with you and your dad.
Oh,
It's
cool.
the 2.5 hour or 2 hour interview
Oh Lord, you can't shut that guy up.
with Michael Strider making a guest appearance, audio
Uh,
wise. Anyway,
uh,
he does.
I
He did
know.
finally get a house now, so hopefully,
Did
he and
he?
I will do an interview here soon because I really want to do an interview, an actual video interview with him because I've never done a video interview with a guy. So
Well, and I think it was January. He was saying that he was going to go visit my dad, and sure as shit, he went down there and they sent
yeah,
me pictures. They hung out for the weekend or however long he was there.
to make you jealous or what?
I see him enough on Zoom. I'm like,
No, I'm talking about Michael Strider. You know,
oh, hell
just hang
no.
out with him. No, I've never hung out with the guy. We met, kind of like how you and I met, just online and stuff, just by just doing
Hung out
interviews
with
and stuff.
Michael. Michael's a blast. I mean, I hung out with him. I think it was a couple different conventions. And that's how I met him is because he had just known my dad. I think just a
Sure.
convention goer,
Yeah.
obviously a photographer. So there was some interest and stuff. And he's a mover and a shaker. He's
Oh,
fun.
absolutely. I mean, he's definitely been around the block, and I met him probably around the same time as when I met you. So we kind of known each other, and he's been on the
Probably.
show, probably about 4 times, I think, in the past for 4 different audio interviews that we've
Yes.
done. So I think you kind of tie him or whatever, maybe, or maybe
Yes.
you don't. Maybe you. Well, now counting all these appearances that you made on the show, now that
Oh,
you're part of
that's
the
true.
crew,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like
Michael, who?
yeah, yeah. It's like I feel like I've kind of won the friendship war kind of like because it's like now I got Lance on here now. Who would ever thought?
Hey,
Sorry,
Because
my Wi-Fi was sweating on my grandpa's antique desk.
I know you could go to any podcast you want. I'm sure you've been invited by many other people. I'm sure that know you. I
Did
mean,
you know
I
Mark Anthony? He had never been on a podcast before.
can't believe that.
I right? It's like, oh, I feel so privileged.
Well, just like when we interviewed Barry Webb, last December, she said she's never been on a podcast before. It's like I find that hard to believe. Why would not nobody want to interview her? She's funny.
There's
I
a
don't
few
understand.
we've had, I think.
Yeah, and I mean I don't understand that. Well, for tonight's guest or for the second guest for tonight, Lindsay, this will be her first time putting her on the spot. So I told her, "Hope you're ready." But I did tell her that you're on my panel, so that you and her. You said you know her, so and she was pretty happy to know that. Mama T. So just so you
Oh,
know, but yeah, well, no,
oh,
Lance. No,
man.
she's
Yeah,
good
I
friends
don't
with
know who you're
Lance. Yeah, yeah,
talking
yeah, yeah.
about.
That's right. Like Lance lives in our area for fuck's sake.
Shh, don't tell.
I know,
Yeah.
but
He
I
looks
can't.
like he does to the way he dresses, but it's like to go to that
I know it's
lumberjack.
it's
Yeah,
almost too Pacific Northwest tonight. I feel kind of stupid, but it
no,
was freaking
you look, you
cold.
look, you look
Oh,
Midwest.
Midwest,
Okay,
yes.
I'll take that
Yeah,
because it
sure
was
you
just
betcha.
damn cold.
How can it be cold over there and hotter than hell over here today? Jesus Christ. It's like
66 is what my phone says.
Are
That's
you
our.
kidding me? It's
It's
85
crazy.
here. I am sweating my balls off.
It's
yeah, literally.
crazy
She
here.
don't
Like
have
literally,
balls.
they're gone. I can't find them.
Clomp on the
It
floor, I
Oh
guess.
worked.
wait, there they are.
Jesus. Don't tell me anybody that. I'm just
Oh no, no, they're too fit in my pants. I can't carry them in my shirt.
yeah, that's right. The adult humor has already started. We haven't even gone live yet, for Christ's sake. It's just the
Oh,
pre-show.
there we go.
Well, do you know anybody, or I mean, do you know that Howie Brockhouse and all their Mama T from Middle River? Have you heard of the name before or anything? Because the
House.
the book that
Maybe.
he wrote about is about like what you've gone through in your life, I'm sure, with being a single parent and everything, and dealing with how being raised, by whatever.
Yeah, what book is it again?
Let me just look you real quick here. He did send me an Amazon link too, and I was supposed to actually go look through it and stuff, but I haven't had a whole lot of time. I've been so
Mama
busy.
T, are you a single parent?
I'm a
Well,
parent and I'm
now,
single. Oh, yeah, but no,
now,
youngest to my 16-year-old. The only one of my children that is not an adult lives with her father. So, not technically, but
But you
I,
you single parented.
I did when I had my first child. Yeah.
Bless you. That's tough, man. That's not easy.
I'm just trying to find it. I'm trying to look through.
Shut up, Charlie.
What? Huh?
Neighbor's cat.
Oh, I didn't know you had a cat.
I know it's the neighbors.
It just comes up
He
the
just
steps or whatever.
shows up. Hey.
This randomly shows up. Wow, that's crazy. Well, the neighborhood.
And just so you know, we can do a Funko thing at some point. But
Oh yeah,
look, I just want you to know my collecting right now is been a little bit off the charts, and so I have to rebuild some shelving, and I just rather hold off, and we'll get there. But I've been kind of having a little bit of too much fun.
okay. Well, you have more money than I do, so I mean, good. God
That
bless you.
that's not true. Then the more
That's
I
not
do
true.
this,
Yeah, whatever.
the least that happens. I just have the ability to go right up to the headquarters when
Yeah,
everything is just a very fair price, which is normal. Like I showed you those Terrifier guys.
yeah.
I didn't know anything about them. I saw online that they were selling out. I went up there. The chick actually said, "I'll tell you what, show up tomorrow when we open and we'll have them. We'll have them brown bagged."
Sure.
And I bought four and I got a chase. And so far there's no value on the chase, but the common is coming in at $109.
So you're trying to. So you're basically collecting to earn a profit eventually. Is what you're trying to do.
I'd like to pass this on to my grandkids. I'd love to see if I
Okay.
can purchase strategically in a
Okay.
way. And then I'm starting to go, God, could I network for people because I'm at the Funko shop? If somebody like, could I start a service where I go up there for people that want Funko shop exclusives? And I,
I
the
know
only one is here.
And
So,
how close are you? Like how many miles from
oh,
your house?
within 10.
Within 10 miles from your
Oh yeah,
house.
it's absolutely terrible thing because it's so
Wow.
easy to get there. I mean,
And what does the building look like? Does it say like Funko on top of the building and everything? It's like a big
oh
old.
come on, man! There's videos all over.
Well, I haven't. I mean,
These
I know
Funkos.
you told me that before, but I mean,
It's
like I
huge.
haven't. Okay,
The whole
okay.
outside is done up because Funko lives up in Everett. They are everywhere
Wait,
as a company.
Is that where they found it? Is that where they were founded from? Like
That's
the
one.
headquarters?
The only headquarters is Everett and then Hollywood, and then there's a couple of overseas places. So I think they say all the boxes show you the Everett address.
Oh,
wait a minute. Are you talking about Everett, Washington?
Yeah.
yeah.
That's where my oldest child lives.
Oh,
What?
My daughter Jana lives in Everett. Her dad is over in Seattle.
must be where Blanche is from then. Oh, that's let me look here.
It's on
North,
Wetmore.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm
yeah, Everett,
I'm within
Washington.
5 miles of Everett.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know if you can read that at all, but I don't
No.
know.
Oh,
It must
But
say Wetmore.
it says Everett right there.
Yeah.
You're
And
right.
the street is Wetmore. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
So when you go there, because there's people that do all these videos from there, and
yeah.
it's a riot, man. And those people, some girl opened up a chase because again, they come in a bag. So they hold them behind the counter. You can't pick them. They pick them for you.
Okay.
And then they make the biggest deal when you open it up and you get one of the chases and the whole store freaks out. There's
Well,
funk.
if
It's crazy.
if we're gonna do a Funko video, let's try to plan it between October and November before the holidays anyway. You know,
so
like
Mm.
so we could do like a holiday
I,
type of.
I had to go kill the cat. No,
Oh, okay.
no.
Well, we want because I think if we if
The renter came home. So
oh
what's what's the Funko video? But yeah, I know what a
oh
Funko Pop is.
See,
I
well he
know what
they're in Everett.
Lance and I were planning on doing a Funko Pop video where we're going to show our collections off of some of our favorite Funko Pops because I have a bunch and he has a bunch, and you know I
my
figure if we're going to do this around the holiday, you know we could do this around the holidays or before the holidays, and it'd be great. I mean, we could do make a production out of it, make an
I
hour long video, whatever, and just show some of our stuff and tell a story about it or something.
I used to have a couple of them, Daryl and Rick from Walking Dead, but my ex threw them away.
See,
Oh,
her ex didn't allow her to have any fun. Couldn't go to shows, couldn't go to concerts, movies, whatever. Couldn't have any fun. Work more important, than
Kirk,
you know.
come home.
Yeah, take care of your kids and pay bills and die. That's about it. Have a nice life. I hate people like that. I really do.
Yeah.
But, this book here that we were talking about here,
Yeah.
it's called "For Kids' Sake, Be Great: How Caregivers Create Positive Environments in Separate Homes." So I was supposed to read it, but I just haven't had time. I've been so busy.
Is it digital? Do you have a digital? Do you have a hard copy?
He sent me a link. Well, I mean, he gave me. Well, he gave me his like $6 to buy it. To buy a copy of it on an e-link or whatever through the Amazon. But
Mm,
I haven't did that yet. But I mean, it looks. I mean, from what I've read, the preview tells a lot about it already. It almost gives almost all of it away. So I did read that, and I read some of the reviews, and people seem to love it. It came out this year too, just
Is
April
this
29th.
somebody who's on the show?
Yeah, at 6:30 we're going to interview him.
no, it's just
Uh,
a random dude he's talking about for no reason, Lance.
yeah, he's
Well, I just was like, what book? That's pretty intriguing.
yeah. Well, I just decided since we're going with the local theme tonight, might as well make it completely local, and who knows, I mean, it's hard to say who's all going to be on the show tonight. So, because of the fact that Sam might not even show up either. I mean, if it's a
Yeah.
brother-in-law, and that's okay. I mean, that's why I said why I asked a lot of people to be on the show. Group it up because you never know on times like these where people might be too busy, and so at least somebody will show up.
Well, and you
Do
know
something
what
with
was
it.
actually perfect about the last two Mondays is the
Oh, yeah.
weekend, the first Monday off. I actually took two of my kids to see the Metallica show,
Oh,
which God was so great. Uh, and I mean, I haven't seen them since 1988. And then my wife and I last week, if you know the show, the Long Island Medium, the chick with the crazy hair, and
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
went to see her. So that
I
was
like
kind of
her.
trippy. Oh, she's
Wow.
great. We went to one of the whole group things, and I
Now,
mean, she's the tiniest thing, but her hair is so freaking cool.
did you know that her agent or if it's the same one, Teresa, is that who
Yeah,
that is?
Teresa Caputo.
Now, her agent or her media agent is Jeff Cohen, the guy who played Chunk in Goonies. I
Shut
don't know if you
up,
knew that.
really?
Oh,
Yeah,
no
yeah,
way. I didn't know that.
yeah. Hell yeah. I'm friends with Jeff on Facebook. I'd love to
Well,
get him
she
on, but he don't do much interviews anymore.
she's great, man. She swears like a
What's up,
sailor,
Sam?
and it was crazy.
Yeah. What's going on, Sam? How's it going? Good to see you. Long time no see. You're all wearing
I thought it
all
was next week.
next week. No, it's next week is here now. We were had time off already, remember?
Oh, you're a week ahead of us over there
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
middle
yeah,
of
yeah. I
June.
can predict the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna rain tomorrow in your area.
Oh,
Yes,
thanks a
No,
lot.
that's here.
yesterday.
I'm sure it is here.
Could rain here. I don't care. I'm not going anywhere other than probably Grand Forks tomorrow. But that's about it.
Hi, Anson.
How's everybody doing?
Oh, we're doing all right. We're just trying to get start the pre-show a little bit, warming everybody up a little bit.
I thought it said 6:30. That's why it was late.
Oh no, no, that'll be our first guest at 6:30, but that'll be 7:30 your time. I figure since we haven't been on for a couple weeks, and since we took a break, and this is like the start of our second phase or part two or season three or whatever, And I figured since we got two guests on tonight, let's start off with half an hour earlier. So, but the rest of the time, well, next week we have one guest, and then in 2 weeks we might have two guests, possibility because the general manager for my own work wants to come on our show.
Oh yeah,
Can you believe that? Yeah. From
Wait,
he's not
what?
my
mad at you or anything, is he? He'll be like,
no,
right in the
no,
middle of the show.
no.
Fuck
He
You
you.
wants,
gonna
he wants
spill
to
some
fire
dirt?
you live on Facebook.
Yeah, yeah. On my birthday, right? No, that's what he'll be making an appearance on my birthday.
Yep.
No,
Oh, wait,
he
that's
wants
the trivia, right?
yeah, that's in 2 weeks. He wants to I don't even know if it's really going to be an interview that we're doing. It's just he wants to come on and talk about the casino a little bit. And he figures since I'm a media platform, they can and because
React
of
is what you're saying.
well, I mean, it probably doesn't really have a lot to do with our show, but it's just the fact that since we're on the best source and stuff, and a lot of the people that come to the casino are from Grand Forks and Canada and everywhere, and that could help us reach a broader horizon, which
Oh
is
my
helps.
God. Oh,
So yeah,
why?
so
Why? Why does everybody ignore me all freaking day? And then as soon as I start my podcast on Sunday, as soon as I start the one today, everybody is blowing up my phone.
that's what happens with me sometimes too. Everybody wants to call me. Oh, I'm home all day, clean my house and just do whatever. And
Left my house for 5 minutes today. I come back and there's groceries outside my door.
well,
Like,
maybe Bob brought you groceries from the afterlife.
well, no, it was Deborah. I know it was. I know who dropped them off, but it was like you show up the 5 minutes I'm gone. The only 5 minutes I leave my house today, and
Yeah,
that's just how things work here, I guess.
yeah. Well, I mean, who knows? You didn't say Beetlejuice's name 3 times, did you?
Hey, little Bobby, little Bobby, little Bobby.
Yeah, that don't work. It might work, but then it might be like a really evil possession where her head starts spinning. Probably she spits out pea soup or whatever. Oh, that's The Exorcist. That's right. By the way, Lance, I was going to say, since you do have access to go into the Funko place or headquarters, pretty much, did you ever tell them? I mean, obviously, I know you don't like to tell people your big, the big secret about your family, about your dad's history and whatever. But do you think they got like Michael Myers figures over there at all, or have
Oh,
you ever seen
oh,
them
they
over
do.
there? Oh,
They
okay,
do. I've seen
okay,
them.
okay.
What's interesting is when he was talking about coming up here, I started looking around at places that sell pops because he was telling me, he goes, man, I've started to see a lot of those come in.
Yeah.
And I found a couple places. I think one of them is actually closed. I did not think about contacting Funko direct, but I
Well,
mean,
why not? Give it a
well,
shot.
exactly.
I
It would
mean,
be if he would want to do something like that, but
God, imagine that around this time of the year,
I
during
know
Halloween season. Your dad, I mean, there'd be a line of people, I'm pretty sure. And you guys would be recognized for probably in the paper and whatever else, probably.
it'd be pretty fun. I think it would be it, it's a really neat shop, man. Go to
Oh,
YouTube and there's plenty of people who post on
I will.
there. It's
I'll watch that tonight because I'm intrigued. I mean, I've seen the video like from California where somebody's gone, but I've never seen the
okay.
one from your area. So
Yeah, a couple guys actually within the last couple of years have been posting a lot about it.
okay. Well, we'll keep up to date about the video and everything because I really want to do this with you and I think it'd be a lot of fun and to
Yeah,
just you and I we can just shoot the shit whatever and just show our stuff off and try to find the ones that really mean a lot to you. You don't have to show everything. Just show the ones that are
oh
really
boy.
important to you. So
That's
if
not
it
that.
takes a little bit, huh?
Yeah, not that kind of show. It's not a stream.
Well, we're not taking
We
the
got to
clothes
show
off
everything.
the dolls or
We'll
whatever, and
show
just
our
like, oh, look,
stuff.
yeah, that's right. Like this is Marvin Fly without clothes on.
Oh my! It was so funny. So last night after the show, I was like, I went to watch the beginning of it again because the beginning was all messed up, and I'm watching it. I'm like, oh, because like on my phone, you pretty much see me from here up.
Yeah.
But show,
Oh.
well, let's just say my lady nuts were showing
Oh.
quite, and I messaged Mark and I was like, he was like, thanks for letting me be on the show, blah blah, and I was like, man, why didn't you tell me that my titties were hanging out the whole show?
You saw the
He's like,
viewership just keep going up and up, and it was like,
Yeah.
what is the deal? Why do people keep tuning in?
Yeah. Yeah.
he
Why
was
is
like,
that? And why
he
is
was like,
it?
well, who am I to bitch? I said,
Yeah.
and like he kept losing his train of thought during the show. And I said, oh, that's why you kept losing your train of thought. He's like, yeah, you busted me. Oh my God.
No,
I
and
don't know
why were they all wishing you the best of luck? I don't know. It's kind of
Yep.
Guys can get busted even through Zoom, apparently. That really
Yep.
sucks.
wow. While they're trying to bust, right? Whatever. Whatever.
Really
I'm
about
gonna,
it.
I'm gonna get the live going here. We're gonna get our stuff because
Okay, I'll stop.
we should have a pretty good audience tonight because of the fact that of having Lindsay on especially because that's she's pretty well known around the area in a good
Yeah,
way, of
yeah.
course.
Oh, forget how I know her. I think I'm friends with her mom. Maybe I
I
think
don't
I met
know.
her through her mom.
Well, that'll be interesting. I mean, because she says she says she knows you,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Who's missing
Oh.
tonight? Is someone? I know Tony is. Is John them coming on?
He should be. Let's see. Just got the computer back from Raptor, and it's almost worse. I know he's having some computer issues. It seems like so. Who knows? And your brother's not going to be on because he had a death in the family, I guess. But you probably
Right,
know that
right.
already, right?
Wasn't me.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it
Yeah.
was like, oh crap. Oh,
He said,
great. Do we have to do
I was
another
like,
tribute episode?
in law. And I was like, oh,
Yeah. Got to do another fucking tribute episode? Oh, great.
right?
Because I
Yeah.
would. I would. I mean, I would. I mean, honestly, if you really
Oh,
want to
gee,
know.
thanks,
I
Sean.
mean, if
Thanks.
that
Yeah.
did happen, I mean, but
You
show
better do
must go
two for
on,
me. Oh, you would.
Well,
I'll
show
send
must
you a
go
bunch of
on.
videos right now, so when I die, you have them.
Oh,
You can
good.
start showing my videos.
Absolutely. That'll be the new thing. We'll just say, oh, hey, John, you got anything to talk about? Or Sam? Oh, show a video. That's right. Oh, that's nice, Sam. This is something you did 10 years ago.
And
Oh, that's
anybody watch the
nice.
video or no? I mean, nobody.
I told you I got about halfway through it, and then,
That was like 10 years ago.
well, the problem is only
But
watch
less.
DVDs through my computer or through a TV that likes to eat DVDs. I literally I found, okay, the kids were trying to make a copy of this one CD of Bobby's, and they could not find a copy of it and couldn't access the stuff on the phone. So they were going to burn copies to mail or to sell, right? But it's simple album. Well, I was going through some stuff one day, and I didn't have a CD player up here yet, and I had just got this TV, and I was like, well, it's got a DVD player in it. I'll just play it on there. Well, I put it in, it wouldn't play, and I was like, well, okay, maybe it only will play DVDs, right? It wouldn't kick this CD out. I freaked out. I grabbed the thing and I brought it in the living room, got my screwdriver and freaking took the dang thing apart just to get the CD out because it was the last copy we have. Ended up dropping the damn thing on my foot, the TV, not the CD. Broke my toe.
Of course, of
Hey, you're
course.
lucky this show isn't muted because you're like with the
Yeah,
screwdriver.
yeah. Well, we just got used to that, I guess. I'm sending everybody the live link here. So other than Lance, because
And yeah, I
obviously he's
can't.
on Facebook and all, as I always say.
Ouch.
And
Well,
You
I
mean
mean, you don't.
he's the smartest one out of all of us, what you're
No, he should
saying.
he should get it
I
on
know.
Facebook. That'd be great. It'd be great to interact with him more.
I know.
and
Sorry.
I did get the Beetlejuice, and I got my computer to play it one time, but now it won't play it again.
Oh,
Freaking
well,
laptop has been driving me nuts. Like last night, it took me until I was like 10 minutes into the show to even get my messenger to work.
well,
And
that's
I
because your computer needs to be cleaned up. That's
oh,
what's going on.
definitely, and it's old too. I mean, it's Windows freaking 10 or something, and it's old. Somebody,
Somebody got their audio. Of course, that's probably.
No, it was me because I put
Not
on
me.
chat and you can hear the chat. I forgot to lower it.
and see, I didn't even bother trying to do it tonight because when I'm using my phone, I lean it up against the laptop, because I don't have like a stand for my phone or anything.
Sure.
For that again. But when it's leaning against the computer, the phone gets too hot.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, heat. I mean, it's a device that's going to get warm regardless of what you can do about it, unless you got like one of those little like fans or cooler or things for the laptop. Because I've heard those cooling pads or whatever. I've seen that before.
Well, just leaning against the screen because I've got it up on top of something and then leaning against the screen, and just from it leaning against the computer screen when the computer's on. So I
Oh,
didn't
sure.
lean it on because I wasn't gonna fight with it all night.
Yeah. Oh, that's all right. That's all right. All right. So we are live here, or just got the live going here. So probably just gonna be us for the time being, but that's all right.
I hate missing all the chats though. That's why I had it up last night so I could still
Oh,
look at Messenger and still.
that reminds me just to make sure that we got everything all good with the audience stuff. Because yep, still sets me on friends and friends, of course, all the time. So I'll change it to public here so everybody can see it.
Okay.
All right. So should be good
Thank
now.
you, Frankie.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
So big.
All right, let's get the show. Let's just, as the late Greg Kidd would say, let's get this fucking show on the road. Anyway, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another great edition of Renegade Radio, season 10, or not season 10, season 3, episode number 10. Boy, it's season 10 already. Boy, we're already jumping the gun, huh? We'd already be so old by that time. Anyway, uh, well, speak for ourselves, right? It's season 3, episode number 10, right here on Renegade Radio for courtesy of Frankie Slauson Productions. Tonight we are making our return after a 2-week break. We just had a 2-week break. I hope you guys enjoyed. And for those who are watching the stuff on Best Source, I hope you guys liked the filler content that was going on. A little bit of archive footage from past interviews and stuff that we've done before. And I'm just happy that we were able to do that, at least so to give you guys some type of filler, because everybody loves a little bit of filler, I'm sure. But tonight I'm your host with the most, Frankie Slauson. Tonight we are with Mama T, Lance Warlock, Screaming Sam, and John Roberts, all coming in tonight to start off our next phase of season 3 of Renegade Radio. And did you guys have a good little 2-week break at all? Do anything exciting or anything at all?
I
Mom
did.
T?
I think I worked 6 days at the racetrack in those 2 weeks, so I didn't get a whole lot off.
Oh, yeah, I see your.
I'm upset with you. I'm upset with you. So
Why?
I tell you
Why?
what. So you see, you've been following the chat, and you saw the new intro to the Buzz with Mama T on Sundays, and you saw the pictures that I sent to the group. You're not impressed that I was trying to hitch for a ride out on the racetrack?
Mama T, and I see your.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I just can't do that though either. I mean, I could maybe pull some strings. Show up on Friday. It's the last night of the year. I'll see if I could get you out of the car for a couple of laps in a pace car.
But you didn't even react to the photos. So we were there, and like it was like there was some caretakers that were there.
Oh, you were yeah, but let me tell you something. On noon of a race day, my phone starts going, and it's nuts. I mean, it's nuts. I'm up in that booth, and I got so much shit going on, and people messaging, texting, calling, hand signals, whatever they can do. And a lot of the times I'll just kind of blow it off a little bit, and that's I'm sorry, but I'm guessing that's what happened. If I would have known you were there, I would have came and found you, or I would have sent you up to the booth.
I wasn't at the races. There was only a couple.
Oh,
so it was last Monday during our break, because Sean was asking during our break, did you do anything?
Yep.
So what I did was I went and me and my producer for the Buzz went and did a video shoot for the new intro to my show. And
okay,
the whole premise of this show, or the whole premise of the intro, because I'm moving to Grand Forks now, is me hitching a ride from here to Grand Forks. So he did video shoots of me from here all the way to Grand Forks, looking like I'm hitching for a ride. And on our group chat,
I saw. Yeah, I did like those. I saw them, and I'm like thinking to myself, if you're in Grand Forks, you didn't even get a hold of us. That's what I was thinking.
Okay,
Did you move to Grand Forks, or you just went?
I'm going to by the end of next month.
Are you really? Okay.
Yeah, just
Ooh.
Wow.
it's a new start for Mama T, and I don't know how I feel about that, but I mean, maybe it'll be good, I guess, for her.
Quite a few people upset about it. There's
Well, it's like now
I
you'd be
thought you
farther
stayed.
away.
I thought you would stay at Little Bobby's for
Yeah, just some controversy
forever.
with that.
there,
Let's just
yeah.
say controversy. We'll leave it at that. So
That,
no need dirty
yep,
Okay.
laundry coming out there. Time to
yeah.
wash your clothes.
Let's just say small towns and
Yeah.
misunderstandings.
Well, speaking of small towns, tonight's theme is we're going local. And I don't mean like loco, like crazy, or maybe we will after the end of the show or whatever. Who knows? Most of the time, it always ends up pretty fun anyway with how we do things. Tonight, we're going to be joined about 6:30 Central Time. We'll be joined by author from Middle River, Minnesota, Mr. Howie Brockhouse. He's going to be on the show talking about life. Just how he got raised as a kid growing up, and how he raised his family as well. And the reason why we're having him on is basically, I think his story can relate to a lot of people's stories when it comes to like being a single parent or going through divorce or and raising kids or whatever. There's so many people that go through all that shit, and it's just like, well, it's nice that somebody's writing a book about it. So that's what we're going to talk to him about here in about another hour or less than an hour from now. And then the main event that we've been waiting for quite a while, but finally going to happen. We're going to go with Lindsey Gregory. And the reason why what makes her so fantastic is the fact that she actually cares enough about her community in the city of Thief River Falls to want to make a difference, where she's going to try to run or is running for school board. And, because she's sick of the controversial bullshit that's going on over there and she wants to make some changes. So
And
we're going to have her on at 7 o'clock. So
she's not going to be your typical politician either, because your typical politician, they'll just say, I was given the wrong information, blah, 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 and make excuses, whatever. They sugarcoat it, or, she posted something that had incorrect information, and immediately this woman went on there and said, nope, that's not true, and here's the proof. I should know, I didn't know that was false information, but here's the real information. So it wasn't as bad as everybody thought it was. But I mean, what politician do you know that does that?
yeah, or says that they're sorry, if they screw up or
That
something.
We
Not
just
much.
signed a new contracts with 4 of them. I like them
Oh,
for a couple of months.
that's great.
What are you, Antique Man? Is that a can of peaches?
It is a fruit mix with extra cherries.
Oh, fruit
He's
cocktail.
getting crazy tonight.
You know how I like my cherries.
Popping like always. Wow.
That's dinner. That's dinner tonight. That's dinner.
Wow, that sounds like a 5-star meal there.
Oh yeah.
Got any
It
ramen
sounds
noodles
like
to go with that?
No.
Cherries on the show. It sounds like a Screaming Sam show.
Hey,
Watch it now.
Well, I'm Screaming Sam.
Don't knock it till you tried it.
Well, we all know that if Screaming Sam and maybe even Antique Man were in charge of doing an actual Beetlejuice movie, it'd probably be called Beaver Juice.
Yep. Oh, I
So-
almost peed myself. I mean, I'm sick, so take much. Yeah.
Well, I've sent a lot of funny little videos and the pictures in the last couple of weeks, and I know, Antique Man, did you see the one that I sent you that looked like you in a dress? I know it wasn't you, but it was like somebody. It was like somebody wearing a dress that looked just like you, but it was. I know it wasn't you, but it was just.
Yeah, but the
somebody that looked
Antique
like
Man
you.
would put his bro head on it. He don't give a shit.
Well, it could have been me any given night.
Who knows if it was?
That's his business, mister.
Back in the LSD days.
Sure. Yeah.
No, it wasn't me.
Well, I would
I
think
thought
that it
I
wasn't.
saw you
but-
wearing a dress back in those days.
That's almost It's screwed up enough. I don't need to just spit my wine onto it. Thank you.
Well, if you do, then you're out of a phone and a computer. What the hell, dude? No, and anyway,
That's funny when you talk about this Howie Brockhouse being on tonight and living in Middle River.
yeah,
Way back in the day, and Sean, I don't know, this was probably before your time too, but they had the Meadowbrook Ballroom.
yeah.
It was out in the middle of nowhere in this woods, and it was this big ballroom, and they used to have these huge parties. And you talk about Antique Man back in the acid days. Well, back then, you could bring your own jug of booze in with you, or you could buy their 3-2 beer or mix. So you'd come walking in there with them half-gallon plastic jugs of whiskey, all screaming on you know what, and oh boy, did we have some fun in the River back in those days. Had the
I don't know what you guys are
going
talking
on.
about. I never did drugs. Never.
Good
Yes, they
times.
Yeah, yeah. Screaming Sam
Too late.
could do a drug ad or whatever. Don't do drugs, kids.
Don't do drugs.
Or they'll fuck you up, dude.
Just have sex.
Yeah, that's right. No, you start off. You say don't do drugs, and then you scream because they'll fuck you up. You know.
Oh, okay, let me do my commercial. Listen, kids out there, okay? Don't do drugs. It'll fuck you up.
That'd get me not wanting to do drugs anymore if somebody did that to me.
Thanks,
No.
Sean, for pulling that out of me. My throat. I can't. I got something in my throat. I can't even scream anymore. Say it. Oh! No.
Yeah. You got
That's
practice.
what she said.
It's called getting old.
Oh, jeez. Well, maybe the screams are not as loud as they used to be, but hey,
Wait a minute. You're not old until what? Your knees are bruised because you're. Wait.
Yeah.
Come on, Mama T.
family show. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Until your ball sack is hitting your knees.
Oh,
I just saw that today. That was you, Antique, right?
What did you guys think I was gonna say?
Yeah, that was me.
The group chat.
I just want to say, listen, the group things and stuff. I get not that I'm popular or anything, but I get so many messages during the day. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, they do it in the middle of the night and everything, and I just click. I do look at our stuff, but I just sometimes don't. Like Mama T, I watched your thing. I thought it was great. I think I did love it or something, and it was good.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I can't believe John didn't pick you up, but that's fine.
Yeah.
You need to call me. Call me. You have my number, don't you?
John,
No,
I'm going to hitchhike from Ohio to where you live. You going to pick me up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure I would.
Absolutely.
I got Paul's number, and that's who Jeremy has been contacting.
Well, I'd give Screaming Sam my number, so he'd get a hold of me.
Listen,
I'm going to send it to you right now, Mama T.
All right.
now that Mama T is moving to Grand Forks, I got 2 people in Grand Forks and 1 person. Where do I go when I come visit? In between Grand Forks and Minnesota?
You
That's
come
about it.
you come to Forks, and Sean will just have to borrow gas money from somebody and come visit us.
I'll pay his gas.
Why do I have to borrow gas money? I have money. I'm doing okay. You know, jeez. It's you that need gas money.
I don't even have a car.
That's right.
Where's
That's
your
right.
car
You're the
at,
one.
Mama T?
Huh?
Where's that Grand Victoria you had, or your Grand?
Oh, the
Grand
Blizzard.
Cherokee or whatever.
No, it's 2010 Crown Vic
Right, Crown Vic.
Interceptor, the Bluesmobile. I'm selling it because
cop
it doesn't
car.
have jobs and it doesn't have insurance, and I don't have license. And what's the point of having the Bluesmobile if I don't have the blues man next to me? That was our. So
I just asked
If I'm
because
moving-
I know you used to do a show in it.
yeah, if I'm moving on, I'm.
Now she does it in the back of a police car.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Put her hands behind her back.
Driving this car.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Well, one good thing about Grand Forks now, you don't have to have a car to live in Grand Forks. Between the bus service and if you live downtown, everything is downtown now, whether grocery stores, bars, restaurants, everything is right downtown. You don't even have to hardly own a car.
Yep. And Where I'm living is okay. So like if you're coming in on business too,
Yeah.
if you take that next turn right after the turn for your place, you go down to the gas station, you turn left, you cross the bridge, and you go past what is that on the is that like a fire station or something? And then you just go around the corner there, and I'm like right there. So
Well, you're going to be living in East Grand Forks, not Grand Forks.
yeah, but
You're going to be in East Grand.
I'm gonna be coming
No,
over.
that's a big difference, Mama T. That's Minnesota still.
Is it really?
Yes, but
Yes.
Yeah.
But
but
how far are you
Yes.
walking distance from the studio?
oh, it's not
A couple
really. I
miles,
mean, yeah.
Oh, that's
4 or
not bad.
5 miles probably. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's at
I
least it's
take
from where you're at.
Minnesota and Belmont.
You'd have to go across a bridge, and then it's nice residential areas until you get down to South Washington. Then it's shit business, industrial to get to our studio.
Well, I used to live
But
on
yeah,
13th,
you'll be in a nice spot of town.
15th, 15th. I
13th
used to live
Avenue.
on 15th, like that down the street from, like right across from that one church.
That one church.
You
There's
know,
like 40 of them.
With the steeple?
no,
And the Jewish hat. Sure.
15th
No, you-
Avenue.
Belmont to
The cross
15th.
out front.
and you go on.
The ones with the horn nuns and everything that Sam likes.
Are you
We're
drinking,
on the
Mama
very
T?
north end.
So,
Were you on 15th Avenue or
yeah,
15th Street? Street?
if I'm going on Belmont and I get to that
Oh.
like the water station or whatever, and I turn right,
Yeah, you're on 15th Avenue. Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
that's where
Why
I
don't you
used.
just tell everybody where you live?
I
Yeah,
used.
What's your
Yeah, 'cause
social
I
security?
take
What's your social
I take
security number?
Belmont all the way down to 17th on my way to the studio, and then I just take a right on 17th, and it brings me right to the studio.
I
yeah,
gotta
know-
write this shit
know,
down.
Yep.
Where do you live?
But that won't be where she lives. That's where she's talking North Dakota now. She's
Yeah.
still going to be in Minnesota.
It's only
Yeah.
2 blocks from our other house.
Yeah, how many houses are you gonna live in?
No,
It's-
you'd be surprised how big Grand Forks is, man.
Yeah,
it's
it's a pretty big city.
75,000 people.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah,
I
pretty
love
smart of you.
Belmont though. There's
and that's not
Belmont.
counting East Grand
You-
Forks. Has got another 10 grand,
do a test.
maybe.
You guys got to go on Google Maps and do a street view of Belmont Avenue in Grand Forks because those houses on Belmont. Like one time, our son was seeing a girl on Belmont, and his dad was just like, "She lives on Belmont? Well, you got a good one there, son." Just because there's
Well,
so many nice houses.
That
on
was the
street.
rich neighborhood back in the day. Now you go up by the Kings Walk Golf Course and some of these places. Now we're talking homes that are $1 million plus homes that are out there now. The ones we're seeing on Belmont were the huge. They're probably $400,000 houses now, but they're all built in the 50s. Their garages are just tiny, but it's still that part of town. When you go up by the new stuff in the golf course, there's no established trees or anything. Belmont is one of the oldest neighborhoods in Grand Forks, and it's really nice, but it's getting to the point now where South Washington Street, and sorry for you guys that don't know this, Grand Forks, but South Washington is the main hub. It's so busy, people will now take Cherry or Belmont. So the people living on Belmont in these really nice, beautiful houses are dealing with nonstop traffic now because it's the quick way, and it's between 25 mile an hour and 30 miles an hour speed limit the whole entire way. And I take it every morning to work, and people will actually pass me on a city street, at 5:45 in the morning or 5:45 in the morning. It's like, it's getting
that's
bad.
crazy. Like all those one ways. And no, we are not talking about how beautiful Grand Forks is and all these beautiful houses and promoting Grand Forks just because the show is getting picked up by Grand Forks Best Source.
And we love the best
Hey,
source.
that's just
They're
another
great
reason we're
people.
giving Grand Forks their identity again.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Forks for Grand Forks and East Grand Forks. And
Absolutely.
they need Grand Forks Best Sources help. They need all of our help.
I mean, it must feel.
They don't have an identity anymore.
It must-
Fargo stole it from them.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
Radio
does it-
station.
how does it feel though now to kind of say that you're like one of the only media outlets in Grand Forks? I mean, that's that's a high honor, I'd say, and that people are actually figuring it out. Where you guys are, and there's a lot of people who have been doing podcasts with you guys. Whether how you put that together is between you guys, but like even our show, I'm sure some people are starting to talk about it a little bit. I'm hoping anyway, because we've been on now for a little bit. We've made a little bit of airway here. Some episodes get more views than others, but I would like to think that people are starting to wonder a little bit about the show that we're doing, and why is it just coming from one area, and why is it not coming from more areas?
Yep, yep. And we are at, the Buzz with Mama T is getting picked up. It is going to be airing on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m., I believe.
Glad to be a part of it, John.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm really not trying to. Well, maybe I am. I don't know. I like the wine. At least it's not gin or vodka. But Ickies and Common Sense. I mean, all those podcasts you guys got on there are just really awesome. I'll sit and watch them.
It's crazy because to know these guys like Icky, he's a super guy. He's kind of a germaphobe. He wears a mask all the time until he walks into our studio, and he knows he's not allowed to wear a mask in our studio. He's a super guy. I've got to be friends with his dad lately. His dad's a veteran. His dad is one of the few people you can tell the veterans, because when I'm up in that announcer's booth at the racetrack, I'm like, okay, dudes, it's time to take your hats off. And if I see somebody that doesn't take, I'll sit there and I'll call them out on the PA in front of, I don't care if there's 7,000 people there. And I also say stuff like, this is where you do not take a knee. I mean, it's almost like I double dog dare you. But you can see the vet, and Icky's dad is one of them, because those are the guys that are saluting the anthems, and he's there. And I just, it's a whole unique story between how we got a lot of these hosts, these guest hosts on these shows. A lot of them approached us and had never done anything like it before. And once they finally get in their comfort zone, because I mean, you guys have been in there, you walk in there, it's kind of a, whoa, when you first walk in, and they've just, Icky's show has blossomed. I mean, he's just, he records that show on Monday morning. So I deal with him every morning, and Monday morning, and he's like, John, I'm sorry if I offended you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I'm just sitting there, drinking my tea and reading my phone or whatever. Well, you were really quiet this morning. I'm like, dude, it's 9 o'clock in the morning on a Monday. I got nothing to say, but he's a super guy.
I had a strange idea that I think would work completely if you need somebody to be your partner, to be like like if somebody wasn't taking their hats off or whatever during the Pledge of Allegiance or Star Spangled Banner. You get Screaming Sam to be your partner, and he'll personally go find these people that aren't taking their hat off, take their hat off, or scream them to death until they take their hat off.
I'll just beat the piss out of them with their hat.
Wear the trench coat and everything.
It's funny now because there's no smoking or vaping in the grandstands, which is obvious. Well, we've got a spot right outside, right below the main grandstands, connected to the beer gardens, that you can smoke and vape. And I'll have people actually message me saying, hey, somebody's vaping over here, and hey, and I'll call them out on it. And I'm like, okay, listen, do you want to just, if you can't walk out to this smoking and vaping area to smoke or vape, you probably shouldn't be smoking or vaping if you can't walk down a few steps and step outside. And another thing is, do you really want the cops to come up and escort you out while I do the play-by-play? Because that's what's going to happen. And people go nuts over that crap because you just don't hear that. Announcers don't say that kind of shit, but they give me enough freedom at this racetrack where I can pretty much say what I want because it's the rules, and I'm just being, actually the sheriff's department, because there's deputies all over the place, they like it when I do that stuff. It makes their job easier.
Sure.
So it's kind of fun. I have a good time doing it. And I'm done. This Friday is my last day for the year. I don't think I'm doing any other tracks or anything, so I'll be done Friday night.
Oh
And
wow.
I
Sucks.
actually never
Yeah.
until this video shoot for the new intro. Um, I had actually never been to the tracks. I've been to the farm or to the farm to the fair. Been to your place too, but
Yeah, because you were out on the track itself.
yeah, and that was really cool because like we went in there and we saw these guys cleaning up, and I was just like, is it okay if we just stand here and oh yeah, we can take a break for a minute? I'm like, no, it's only going to take a few seconds. And then so we did the shoot with the tower behind, and then we kind of looked at each other and looked out at the track. I'm like, wouldn't it be cool? And he's like, yeah. Hey dude, is there any way we could like actually go out on the track? And he's like, oh yeah, I just walk through there and go through there and go ahead. Like, and like that was literally the first time I'd actually been to the grandstands. And when I remember walking up there and seeing a sign that says there was no drinking in that area. And because you brought up
Yeah, there's a little section.
yeah, but that's yeah, that's awesome. Like people
So
don't
I'm
want
guessing you
people
probably talked to a guy named Tommy, kind of grayish hair, glasses, and
vet.
he's a super guy. He comes off kind of rough,
Was he a
but
was
he's a great guy. Was he what?
is he a vet?
No, I don't think he is. You
He
maybe
like
talked to Woodtick.
he came
You
across
probably talked to a guy they call Woodtick.
Wood tick, huh? I'm talking to wood ticks
Yeah,
now. Eh?
yeah.
Yeah,
But
you fucking wood tick.
and just one quick thing. I don't know where all you walked around the track, but if you were on the corners, see this racetrack, it is so fast that the World of Outlaws have actually had to make them reconfigure it a couple times because it gets too fast. It's considered a quarter-mile track. It's actually a 3/8 on the top. But when you go to the top of these banked corners, these clay oval dirt corners, looking down the back side because there's no wall, it's about a 30, probably a 30-foot drop. So these cars that go careening off the banks, and you see them go 10 feet, 20 feet higher than the top of the racetrack, they still got 50 feet to drop where you don't see them. So it's really cool when you get up there. You know, on the track, when they first start, it's so you could barely walk up to a corner because the track is so slick. But these big sprint cars with these humongous tires, they go around at 100 miles an hour like it's nothing.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
what was this video I was watching? Sorry, I've got a mosquito bite on my foot. What was this? What was this video? I get something about a ambulance trying to get off the track or something.
Oh,
What was
when we got rained out Friday night, and actually it was bus racing. We do it once or twice a year when school's going on, and they get these celebrity drivers, track workers, whatever, and they race buses. And where I'm up in the booth, it's all enclosed, and you can't. It could be pouring out, and you can't tell up there because of the lighting and all of this stuff. And the buses were out there, and I heard through somebody else's headset because my headset's going on to me and not those guys, but heard them say, "Get the buses off. They can't control them. They can't. It's too wet." I'm like, "Too wet?" Well, then we figured out it's raining. Well, they're trying to get the ambulance out of the infield, and he couldn't make it up the bank to get out and go around. So he got stuck, and they came out and pushed him out, and he tried to go around the other side of the track and tried to get a run, and he got stuck. And so it turned into this big joke where we couldn't even get the ambulance out of the center of the racetrack because we had called the night.
Everybody would have got hurt, huh?
Well, yeah, we weren't racing, but yeah, right, exactly. So yeah, so my night ended really early on Friday night. But then I went and worked racing all day Saturday. I got there at 8:30 and didn't leave till 5 at night. I got there at 8:30 in the morning. So yeah, I still got my fix this weekend.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's good though. I mean, at least you had a pretty good season. I mean, would you say like it was probably a good season for you, or have you had better seasons being announcing? I'm sure you have the
No,
greatest hits
we
anyway.
still have some races we'll have to make up that won't be made up. It's impossible. We're already one of the longest running tracks in this part of the country. The big tracks like Knoxville and some of them, they already shut down weeks ago. We still keep hanging on up here. I don't know. It's just because I think we have such a short summer. We try to squeeze every bit out that we can, and they're all sprint car shows now up here. Like this
Yeah.
weekend now, it's all four classes and nothing but sprint cars. So you get the best of the best, and then it's a good way to wrap up the season. But it was a good season. And,
Well, that's
this is the
good.
time of the year where even the race car drivers are getting burned out. You go at it and go at it. Those guys, I got it made compared to them. I just have this long stretch towards the end of the year where I do a shit ton of races in no time, and they're long nights and they're 3 day shows, and back at it again the next day, even if you got to go to work the morning after and go back at it again. But it's one of them deals. It's like next week I'll be so glad it's done, but by the week after it'll be 80 degrees out, and I'll be thinking, why the hell aren't we still racing? We should still be racing. But then it's off to beet harvest. So I'll be doing that in 2 weeks.
So most of us would be jealous of the life you live. I mean, I mean, that's the dream right there, I guess, right? Well, I decided too that because I don't know if you're still going to be busy or not around, in a couple of weeks or whatever, but I'm not going to come down for my birthday episode. We'll just wait maybe till like later in October or whatever. And I'll try to make one more appearance over in the studio before it gets cold outside. But
Sure.
I got
When's your birthday?
2 weeks.
Do you got an extra
Well, what's
camera?
the date?
On the 30th.
Yeah, I'm sick of the bad connection here, and like I'd come over for your birthday. I'd have a few drinks for you.
Oh,
But
yeah.
my
Okay.
I actually have
What day would that show be on?
That's on a Monday.
Is that your birthday that Monday?
Yeah. In 2 weeks on the 30th, the last day of September. I'll be
Well,
41.
if it's like a regular beat season, we'll start on the 1st.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well,
and
we'll
that's
see. We'll
actually
see.
pretty good. I might only have to miss one of our shows then.
Because I got my vehicle's gonna need some work here pretty soon. I don't know if it's just the brakes that's starting to go or something, but that's one of the reasons why I haven't really gone, too many places lately. I mean, I have, but I haven't. I've gotten rides with other people or whatever, and I just don't dare try to go too far or whatever, just in case if something happens or whatever. And I'm trying to save up the money to get it fixed. It's just making like a little grinding, not a grinding sound, but like when I don't even know how to really explain it. It's like you slow down the vehicle, it sounds like a train going, or like a train stopping, kind of like maybe, or a semi stopping, kind of. It probably could be the front end, like maybe I don't know. It's not. I mean, the tires are fine and everything.
That's for your brakes. It's for your squealers on your brakes. When you hit the brakes, you're coming to a stop and it squeals. That's the squealers on your brakes to let you know your brakes are low.
Well,
if you don't get it fixed soon, you're going to ruin
Sounds
your
like he's
rotors.
beyond that, though.
No.
You're probably looking at motors too.
brake pads.
No, what I'm saying is it doesn't make a squeaking sound yet. It's never made a squeaking sound yet. And what it was doing is like it's just making like a like it just sounds like a semi truck, like when it's starting to go or whatever. Just well, not like that, but just like
you're screwed.
yeah. Yeah, thanks. I knew really telling me this anyway, right? The vehicle is fine. I mean, it works fine. It's just that, like, when I drive, okay, when I go like on the turns or whatever, I'm going 60 miles an hour. Yeah, well, when I'm going 60 miles an hour on the turns or whatever, that because not all the roads are straight around here. Sometimes there's turns, and it's if I turn too far, it sounds. Then you hear a clicking sound.
That's your axle.
Okay.
That would be an axle, because I need to put one in my truck right now too. It knocks slow speed turns. You'll get a little knock, kind of a click.
Yeah, that's what it is.
What usually happens, Sean, is there's a rubber boot around there, and the boot will get scratched or cut or compromised, and you'll get sand and salt and stuff up there. And that's what happened to mine. I ran over something and it cut the boot, get stuff in there.
So is that an expensive fix or is that a easy fix? Or I don't know anything about vehicles, so I don't know
mechanics.
Well, I mean, I don't.
In my truck, I drive a Colorado, a 4-wheel drive Colorado.
Yeah.
It's anywhere from $300 to $500.
Oh,
if you know the axle itself, I don't know. You drive a PT Cruiser, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what an axle costs for them, but one for mine, you can get an axle on Amazon for not much, and the labor isn't that bad. So
Oh,
if you know a guy, it's not bad.
okay. Well, I mean, there's somebody in Oakley that I might talk to. Somebody who works at Senex over there in
Like the
Oakley.
labor on that's less than an hour, so they're gonna dick you for an hour no matter what, because that's what the
Yeah.
book says.
You also
Okay.
got what is the name of North Northwest Northern Customs in Erskine, and then you got Ricky across the street here from the bar. But
Okay.
what I wanted to ask was, Sam, I know you're following the chat. Do we have any comments or anything yet?
No.
While we're waiting for
What's
some people
Derek
to
Foster?
talk.
What's up?
Yeah, I know he said that earlier on.
We got 2 Eric Adams.
No, no.
Yeah, something
Who's
about
that?
I don't know what he
testicle.
meant, but yeah, I like to tuck her in. I like to know what that means.
Yeah, something about a testicle
Sister
festival
Antique
or
Man.
something.
That was something you were talking about. I don't remember.
We talk about a lot of things. Anyway, well, next week we're going to have a very special guest, and this person's going to be chatting with us all the way from the UK, the United Kingdom. That'll be kind of exciting. She sent me a new copy of her book, Searching for Candy. It's all about the life and times of John Candy, and this is
Oh,
the second edition. So there's a lot more included in here. I have the first edition as well, but this is the second edition, and it's more of a hardcover and whatnot. Her name's Tracy Morgan, and it's not the comedian Tracy Morgan. So just so you know, just so anybody who has their hopes up, thinking that we're talking to the actor
It's
or
Steven
comedian.
Tyler.
Yeah, Steven Tyler. That's right. America. Anyway,
is she going to bring a translator? Because I work with a person from the UK and I can't understand a word she says.
I'm pretty sure her English is pretty good. I can understand her.
It's very heavy accent.
Well, I don't think she's going to ask for a spot of tea or anything like that. So
Okay,
or whatever. But
I'm sure it'll be just fine.
no,
Just,
she's
I'm using my phone for the podcast, so I can't see any messages at all. Because if I try to look at messages right now, then I'm going to go away for a second. So
so.
I got a handle on the team.
Anyway, so yeah,
Sorry.
and John Candy was one of those, just a legend. Everybody knows John
Oh,
Candy.
love John Candy.
His legend never dies, man. Even though the guy's been dead for 30,
Funny.
30 years, over
Got
30
it.
years,
God
Been
bless
that
you.
long already? Oof.
Yeah, but
another great man lost way too young.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. I imagine what he would have been like if he would have still been around. Making to be an old man. Even if he would have been 73 years old by now, or 74, or whatever.
Oh,
Actually, I
fucking
think he would have been
ancient.
73. I think he would have been, yeah, because he was born on Halloween in 1950, so he actually would have been almost 74.
Wow.
So
How do you
yeah,
remember the year people? I barely remember the year I was born.
it's all this useless information that back in the day when I started to really like pop culture and I started telling people things that they don't care about, whatever. It kind of similar with Michael Keaton, because I kept telling people that Michael Keaton is one of the greatest actors of all time, and some people were just like, "Oh, you're full of shit," whatever. No, he is a really good actor, and he's the best Batman. Nobody else could pull off Beetlejuice. I will tell you that. If
Hey,
somebody else would have done Beetlejuice, I don't know if I would have went and saw it.
So
You
if Beetlejuice
I gotta give this shout out to Ant-Man, or I mean to Antique Man, because
had
I
a
don't you remember back then when I was born in the 80s. Come on, you guys. You're
if
so
the
old.
Batman and
I'll,
Beetlejuice
yeah,
faced off, who would win?
in a battle between Beetlejuice and Ant-Man.
That's a tough one.
Batman, the Michael Keaton
Oh,
Batman.
I've never watched Batman. I never watched Beetlejuice.
well, you haven't lived,
Really?
sir. You haven't lived, sir.
Well, Batman would kick Beetlejuice's ass.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but Beetlejuice is from the
I mean,
afterlife, though. He can come back. I mean, he
which
already did.
Batman you talking? The Ben Affleck Batman wouldn't. He's a pussy. But that's about good.
You know who's the baddest out of them all? Dexter Morgan.
Oh,
There you go.
yes.
What was
Oh,
that?
Dexter. I finally just watched. I never had access to watch Dexter before, but it always sounded
The best, isn't it?
It is. That was like that's one of the shows I always wanted to watch. Like I got into Preacher, I got into Walking Dead, I got into Sons of Anarchy, and all these series I was able to watch, and then I lost access to a lot of stuff. And when Dexter came out, I was just like, yes,
Awesome.
my sister, I'm still alive. I am on a podcast right now. Sorry. Dexter, I finally have access. Like everybody that comes over here, they're like, oh, well, you've got that app on there? Yeah, I don't have a subscription to it. And they add me on their subscription. So now I'm able to watch like all this stuff that I've wanted to watch.
Watch Breaking Bad and Ray Donovan too. You'll love it.
Yeah, and yes, Breaking Bad I loved.
Ray Donovan is really good.
I haven't watched that. Under the Dome. I'm a real big Stephen King fan, and I just watched the entire series of Under the Dome, and I understand why they canceled it. They didn't do another season because like it just the way they ended stupid.
If nobody here saw Dexter, you have to start watching it because
yes,
it's like the third or fourth time we're watching it. So we're on the fifth series, or the fifth series. It's just so good, it's unbelievable.
Really,
so good to keep it going, I guess. Right?
Well, no, they're coming out. Hey, Mama T.
Yeah.
You know they're going to start a new one, right?
Dexter
Resurrection starting in January. They're going to start filming in January.
Oh.
So he didn't die. He didn't die in the last one.
Oh, thanks for ruining it now. Huh? Thanks for spoiling it now.
I see John over there mocking me.
Son of a.
I guess it's about time somebody gives me a little shit.
Well, people were kind of, asking too about, the differences between, the first movie of Beetlejuice and the second. And I'm not going to give, anything away from the second one. But if people are like kind of want to know kind of where some of these characters come from or whatever that are in the second one, I definitely would suggest watching the Beetlejuice cartoon series. I mean, it's only $25 at Walmart. Or watch it on Tubi for free or whatever, because I found out this was made by a Canadian company. Made the show, and I didn't know that.
Alas, the whole show.
So, who all here besides Sean has been to Beetlejuice?
I haven't been to it. We haven't been to it. We were
going to go to it, but we just said I found a link. Well, I shouldn't say this. I should say this on the channel here, but
so you watched it though?
I watched it at home. I didn't have to watch it at the theater.
And you
no, I didn't pirate nothing. I just found a link and whatever, and that's if you legally download and sell stuff and whatever. Again, if I could say this much.
My wife went with her sister and Paul's daughter on Saturday, but I had come home from the racetrack. I'd been there all day. I actually called the state championship go-kart races for all day, but I came home and they're like, well, we're going to go. She goes, we're going to go to the movie. You want to come with? I'm like, no, I just want to be in a nice inside air-conditioned place. She goes, well, that's the movie theater. I'm going to rent that luxury seating out of fella. So I said, nah, you guys go ahead. I'm going to stay home and flip through the channels and see what's not on.
My plan tomorrow is I'm going to go with a friend's going to bring me to Grand Forks, and we're going to go to the River Cinema tomorrow afternoon and watch it for the first time in the theater. So it'll be a whole different experience, in the theater. What? Yeah, I got a friend picked me up to go to Grand Forks. Oh. I have lots of friends, but not that many. I mean,
who's Zach? Who's Zach?
Galifianakis or whatever.
Yeah.
He's part of the Thief Falls chit chat site.
He says he made it. Sorry for being late.
No, that's all right. No, we appreciate it. He's one of the admins of the new Thief Falls chit chat group page. Because when I was announcing about having Lindsay on, I knew that she was affiliated with this page, so I figured, well, I would join the page and just talk about it a little bit, and talk about our show and get people interested, because there's a lot of people around the area that still don't know we exist, that are starting to slowly find out about us. So,
and that's the thing. I think we need to talk about ourselves a little bit more. I hate talking about myself. I don't know if you guys caught the beginning of my show yesterday. when the guest, my second guest dipped. I still haven't heard from him. My first guest was having trouble with his mic. So my producer, Jeremy, messages me and says, talk about yourself. And I'm like, okay. I don't like talking about myself. I do the shows to learn about other people. But I mean, like, as far as our panel goes, Lance Warlock. Really? Lance Warlock is on our panel? Are you kidding me?
I told you it's a big deal, but nobody seems to get that.
The thing never talks because it's always me, Mama T, or Sean.
That's right. That's right.
Antique Man, this guy, you gotta check out his music. Eric Adams is a super talented musician.
Well, thank you.
Sam is the best Sam Kinison tribute artist I have ever come across.
Yeah, right.
And then we've got our very own John Roberts from Grand Forks. I mean, he's so much for the Grand Forks community.
I love listening to him, man. He's so good.
I know, right? And then we got Frankie Sloss. And I mean, if you've ever met anybody who's just had a face for radio, this is the guy. Wait.
Hey, we need to keep Mama T on the line, man. That's just awesome.
This is why you always be single, I tell you.
Yeah, but Mama T said she'll never have me on her show. I don't know why. Never have me on her show.
I tell you this.
What are you doing? Hey, what are you doing next Sunday, Sam?
I don't do nothing. I'm
retired. Put it this way.
5:30 next Sunday.
5:30. My time or your time?
Central time.
6:30.
Do you want?
She's booking me right in the middle of your show, Sean.
Can you believe that? That's all right. Hey, put it this way: you have any of us on your show, regardless, at least our audio will work.
And and Sean, I've been neglecting you for a very long time.
Who?
Yeah, more than you know.
Sean.
Yeah, me.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Do you want the 5 o'clock spot and take 5:30 or what?
That's the thing about it. That's why I said we should do a pre-record, because it'd be better to do a pre-record than a live, because I work every Sunday and I can't guarantee that I'll actually have the Sunday free. If we do a pre-record, like record something on Zoom that Jeremy can show beforehand, then yeah.
And that's why you suck.
Huh? That's why I suck.
I'm just kidding.
You know what I mean, from one professional to another here, come on now.
I'll be as professional as you can think.
But I would love to have Antique Man on my podcast as well.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Eric, I would really love to hear about your music and your career in music, and that's what my show is all about. Like,
I got a great idea. Let's move the show to Mama's Teeth right now. She can interview us right now.
Yeah, we get this done now.
It's easier.
No.
Oh, we got 2 guests coming up pretty soon. So, geez, hold your horses there.
Yeah, it's 6:18.
Yeah, hold your freaking horses.
It would be cool if we could get one of you guys when I'm out when beet harvest starts here, somebody with a phone, because I can't have a phone out when I'm driving a semi. It's like a $2,500 fine.
Yeah.
But to ride with and do the show with the phone, we'd be able to do that. It's pretty cool. Or even if I could talk Lori into doing it, or Mama T, whatever. It's you go through the whole deal from the field to the factory. You see, it's really, really, it's quite the production.
I would.
That'd be fun. That's the only way I'd be able to be involved with the show during harvest.
Sure.
I don't have an actual job.
We go 24 hours a day until we're done. We start, we don't stop. My truck I drive last year didn't get turned off for 9 days.
Wow.
Yeah, you told us that last episode.
9 straight days.
Remember what you told us that last episode?
I would
love to do cool.
I would so love to do that, just because, number one, I don't have a real job. This is all I do, is like do podcasts and drink. But no. Oh, and smoke. I know there's that one viewer out there that, oh, Mama T's always got to have her.
Is that this Sunday, Mama T?
Yeah, every Sunday. Yesterday was my first one actually back.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm saying you want to interview us next Sunday, this
Yes,
Sunday coming up.
yes. What is it? 22nd?
I just want to know because
Yeah,
I just want to know.
yeah. John,
I'm
though,
growing a beard. I'm growing
not
a
just
beard
because
after
you don't
that.
have an actual job, but also because do you go straight to Crystal Sugar with your truck? Do you have a side number? So you go straight to the west. I used to
No,
work at
I have
Crystal
a
Sugar and
semi.
works for.
I have the semi with the big trailer dump. The
Okay,
whole semi trailer goes up.
okay, because I used to work for Crystal Sugar for 9.5 years. So it
Okay.
was really interesting for me to be back on the property and
Yeah, nobody has side dumps. It's either straight out the back or they've got belt out the back. The side dumps might be like the trans system guys
yep.
that are going from the piling stations after it's all done. But yeah, you guys, this is crazy. It's really quite the production. You'd be amazed. You would be amazed if you jumped in a truck with a guy for half a day or for 2-3 hours.
Oh,
Seriously.
Pretty crazy.
we'd be highly entertained just by the conversations we'd be having. I'll tell you
Oh
what.
my
Dude.
Yeah.
You've
Something
got
we can
old
air, something we
people,
can't
Steve.
air.
Laura,
You've got old people on the show. Do you have to talk about side dumps?
That's right. Just
You can't forget. You can't forget Mad Dog either. I mean, he'd be good on it. I've
Oh
never
yeah,
seen
yeah.
him in an interview. He'd probably be good on an interview.
Well, yeah. Well, we interviewed him last year for his wrestling deal. That
Oh
was
yeah, we
fun.
did
Yeah,
before he started with us, right?
that's right. Well, while he was with us, I was doing it kind of like a test to see if he could actually hang with us for a while, and he proved that he could. So that's why I wanted to interview him. That was the real reason why I wanted to see how much this guy could prove that he is who he says he is,
He's pretty
and
good at speaking.
oh
He's a
yeah,
good
oh yeah.
speaker.
Oh yeah, I don't want anything to happen to that guy. I mean, he's a good. You're
Well,
lucky
I've
to
got
have
to
a
tell you
brother like
guys, he
him.
died. That's the guy who died. He told you, remember? He died.
Yeah, that's right. He's just coming from the afterlife and telling us that he's not going to be out anymore. Yeah, that's right, because he
No,
dead.
I seen him make speeches and I seen him do stuff on stage. He's good. He reminds me, not as good as John, but I'm saying he's pretty good. He's pretty good at stuff. Once you turn the helm over to him and stuff, he can make some good speeches and make you feel pretty good.
oh, see,
Yeah,
I'm bad at that.
with my show, I don't feel I'm really that great at my show. I feel like I'm just like a poser just because like I got all these prescripted. I'm not.
your show is pre-scripted.
No.
Oh my goodness!
Because okay, I feel more relaxed. I like this is why I call this. Even when I do my show and I plug this one, I'm like, this is the fun show. Like we let it all hang out. Well, not all of it, but we let it all hang out. We cuss and we swear and we drink and we smoke.
Well,
And
some of us.
so actually, it was created and thought of by little Bobby, and he wanted it clean. He wanted it to go out to all these kids so these kids could get to know musicians and keep the kids in the music and keep live music alive. And so I'm trying to stick to that, trying not to smoke on the show, trying not to drink on the show, but I feel so much more comfortable on this show just because I feel more like I can be myself on this show. And the other one, I'm like, I've got all these questions lined up. Like when the producer said yesterday, talk about yourself, I was like,
Well, that's what I've been telling you since day one, or since you started doing this show. You
Best
should
story
talk
was is
about
how you
yourself.
met Bobby, how you met little Bobby,
Yeah.
how you just, you know what I mean? That was the best story ever. You know what I'm saying? That was a
Yeah,
good story you told.
it's like a Forrest
And
Gump
it's
story.
different. When you have your own show, you should feel more like when I did my show, I didn't give a shit about nothing. I thought I was the best. I did the best. I was in charge of everybody and it felt good. You know what I'm saying? I let everybody do their speaking. We all had fun. We did a lot of shit on my show, I guess you can see, but you feel different. Like you should take over your show and you should be able to talk about yourself or talk about little Bobby or talk about, like you just said, you wouldn't believe who we have on the show. Like turn them onto our show because we turn them onto your show. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
We share your show.
That's right.
And I think that's, I do have, I mean, we've talked about this since I've been on this show, that I do have a bit of social anxiety, and I do have a few sippy poos once in a while to help me relax. And I'm trying to keep the other show the way he wanted it because it was his idea, just as a tribute to him.
Yeah,
and
right.
So, but when I'm put on the spot like that, and we get the bumps in the road or whatever, I'm like,
don't worry about it.
I don't know what to do. I freeze
And
up.
look how many bumps we've had on this show. You know, yet here we are.
You learn by
You
your
know?
mistakes, and you get better and better.
I do.
It's funny how you say a couple of drinks makes you more comfortable. How I got my start at River City Speedway was I was working at the radio station, and they needed an announcer for a demolition derby during the fair. Well, I used to run demo derbies back at Thief River when I was working radio, and we built demo cars and ran back then the Polk County Fair demo derby, or the Pennington County Fair's demo derby, was like the Indy 500 if you won that thing. It was huge. And so I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. And I go and I meet the GM of the fair board, who happened to end up being my boss at the racetrack a couple years later. But I introduced myself, and this is who I am, and where do you want me? What are we gonna do? And she says, everything's good. And I'm like, okay, where's the beer garden? She says, what do you mean? I said, well, I'm not doing this without any beer. She says, well, you can't have beer and work. And I'm like, well, then you got the wrong guy. And I'm gonna hand her the microphone back. Like, wait a minute. And I'm like, look, if you don't know who I am, I don't drink. I mean, a couple of beers. That's when I get rolling, and that's what everybody knew, and that I do my job just fine. And so from that day on, in fact, when they hired me upstairs full time, he's like, the first thing he says is, well, I said to him, my concern is I can't have a beer up there because there's no beer in the press box. He says, well, because it's not you I'm worried about. We got people that can barely, have a hard time doing their job. I'd hate to see it if they start drinking too. Long story short, 2 nights into the racing season, and I can have a beer up there, and it's never been questioned ever since. But Mama T, a couple of drinks, that's what got me my career, not my career, but I've been doing it a long time in announcing racing, was because I had to have a couple of beers first.
It relaxes you. It makes you see. Now I'm.
You have to understand.
Well, there's nothing worse than a drunk on the air. There's nothing worse than listening to somebody that's had too many drinks. It's horrible.
If we were all together all the time, like, it was easier for my show because we were all together. When you were in a group, and you could have camera just shine on each person talking, it's so much smoother than doing a Zoom call. Trust me, it's different doing a Zoom call and people stepping over each other. And anyway,
shut up, River, Minnesota.
Well, our guest is on. How's it going there, Howard, or Howie, or whatever you want me to call yourself? How's it going there, Howard, or Howie, or whatever you want me to call yourself? You might want to mute your audio a little bit just so it doesn't echo at all. You might want to mute your audio so it doesn't echo at all. Because we're hearing your audio there. Oh, okay, that should be good. How's it going there, Howard? Welcome to Renegade Radio.
Thanks for having me.
Oh yes, definitely honored to have you on the show because you have a book out that's been available for a while, and I feel it has a lot to do with a lot of things that people around our area and everywhere are going through, and I figure give you a little boost, and maybe people will want to know more about it. So that's why I wanted to have you on tonight.
Yeah.
I think there's still some echo though. I think there's still some audio.
Do other people have their audio on? Because I'm getting like.
Anybody else?
No.
Oh, it's probably just you, I guess. Are you on a laptop?
Yeah, I'm on a laptop.
Okay.
Do you have cell next to it watching the show?
Yeah, are you watching the show while you're watching us? You
Because
know what I mean?
do that. So we'll have our cell next to the.
Oh, okay.
So mute your cell.
Yeah, or mute the live feed anyway, and not the Zoom feed. Yeah, or mute the live feed anyway, and not the Zoom
All right, figure it out.
Okay, I
I'll
think
do it.
that's
Hello,
better.
hello.
Oh, we can still hear.
There it is better.
Well,
Oh,
it's like
there
I can still hear it, so I don't know. It sounds like it just come from your area there, Howard.
Well, it's pretty low though. Hello, Howard. Talk. See how loud you are compared to that.
How's this now?
I can still hear it pretty good.
I'm still
Yeah, I
getting
can
it.
hear all you guys. It's just tough with him.
Yeah.
Do you do have your cell?
Let me see if I mute. I'm just gonna mute you, Howard, just for a sec, just to see if there's anybody else.
Oh, you know
I
what?
want
I
to
think
pick
I
his
got
brain
it.
about Middle
Oh.
River.
Wait, here we go. Yep, he
Just
figured
make
it out.
sure. Okay.
Yeah, sorry
you
about
figured-
that, guys.
Good job.
There you go.
Hey.
Got it.
Hey, Howard.
Got it.
Hey,
All right,
we're
we'll
live,
start
so
over.
we're live, so it's like everything can all the fun stuff happens when it's live. You know, that's what they always say.
Yeah.
So, but
Well, thanks
Howard,
for having me. I really appreciate it.
yeah. We're definitely honored to have you on here because we want people to know more about the type of stuff that you're presenting in your book. You know, and I feel like there's a lot of people around the area and you know all over that are going through what your book talks about, and that's why I wanted to have you on. I figured you're somebody who is looking for a little attention. I would say I mean nothing wrong with that. And so I think you've done good work. So let's learn about you.
Yeah,
I didn't
what inspired you
realize
to write it?
I didn't realize the easy part was writing a book. Actually, like getting noticed as an unknown author, that's where the work actually begins. So I got to continually remind myself this is actually the fun part. The book has been published. Now it's the fun part to get the message out there. But before we dig into it, I did overhear the conversation about the Meadowbrook. And I happen to maybe have been there a few times back in the day. And it was pretty crazy. So I concur with that assessment.
Yeah,
I'm originally from Thief River Falls, and we used to hunt. We goose hunted up around Middle River, and you go up there and fight the boys from Middle River, and we'd go to the Meadowbrook. And back in the radio, I worked for KKAQ back in the day, country radio, and we were a big sponsor of the Back Behind the Barn boys. And so we'd have these big parties at the Meadowbrook, and man, that was just like the beginning of the end for me. Almost was the Meadowbrook Ballroom. It was so much fun. But yeah, I was just wondering how the heck you knew about the Meadowbrook, because I'm assuming, since I think, aren't you from Sioux Falls, and how did you end up in Middle River?
My late stepfather married my mother when I was a junior in high school, and he said, "Hey, you can live with me rent free, and we'll even help you out with your schooling." So I went to Northland for 2 years, and then down to the U of M, finished up down there with my bachelor's, and then just came back visiting and ran
What
into
was your
my
major?
ex-wife, met my ex-wife, and the rest is history.
What was your major?
Oh,
Marketing and communications.
Oh, interesting. So you did a little radio then, huh? Or broadcasting, or no?
No. I've been on radio a few times through jobs that I've had, but I've never hosted a show or anything like that. I've always
Okay.
wanted to. I just
It's a lot
haven't
of
got
fun.
around to it.
It's a lot of fun. Especially trying to get listeners to listen to your show. That's the fun part.
Yeah,
Promoting
well,
it.
I can relate to that with trying to market the book. I created a marketing plan, and then I've got a niece who just finished up college, and I said, "Could you throw me some ideas for a marketing plan?" And hers was all social media, and mine was 1990s. So I can handle all the print stuff, but when it came to the social stuff, she's been helping me with that. So it's been fun though.
So how did you get into what inspired you to write this book in the first place? Like, tell us about the book and
Yeah. So the idea came from a parent teacher conference. My ex-wife Jackie and I were in the conference, and It was a teacher who had just moved to our school district, so her first year in the school district, didn't know our history or whatnot. And we're sitting in the conference, and I said, "Hey, just kind of a housekeeping item. I'm not getting any paperwork at my house." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Well, Jackie's getting paperwork at her house. I'm not getting paperwork at my house. I want to be informed. I need to get all the paperwork at my house as well." And she just let it out like a Freudian slip. She's like, "Oh, I never would have thought Abby was from a divorced home by watching her class." My ex-wife and I were tearing up, tears of relief, right? Because I think Abby was only like in third grade at the time, third or fourth grade. I came home that night and I started kind of asking myself, well, we must be doing something different to where a licensed teacher couldn't even tell that we were divorced, that our daughter, because I've taught in the classroom before, and I hate to say it because it's stereotyping, but you can look out on that class and you can almost kind of see, okay, kind of a tough background, tough home.
Broken.
I mean, I hate to say it, but it's the reality of it. So, but that's what sparked it, was that parent teacher conference. So I started asking myself, what are we doing differently? And just discovered some very simple things that we're doing differently. And then another year went by, and then I put an outline together, and I've really kind of been working on it for over a decade. My last job, they were going to move my job to Iowa. They're like, "Do you want to move to Iowa?" I'm like, "No, I don't want to move to Iowa. I got a son who's still in high school over here." And so I was in between jobs, like, I might as well finish this thing. So I finally finished it, and found a publisher to help me with the editing and the formatting and all that, and help me with how to get e-commerce set up and all those things. And so here we are a few months later.
Oh, that's cool. No, that's interesting to know because you talk about living in the middle and also just living in the Middle River. I'm sure those days of being growing up were a lot different than living in South Dakota. I'm sure.
Yeah, Sioux Falls, I mean, it's massive now, a couple 100,000 people. It was about 70,000 when I grew up, but I grew up in the city. And yeah, coming up here in 1989, I'm like, where am I?
That's
And
how I
like,
feel with
what do
Brooks.
you do
That was a
around
really
here,
good time to be
And
up there, though.
met a
That was a
couple.
pretty good time to be up
Yeah,
there.
real. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, speaking of that, like, couple guys I met right away. I'm like, "What do you guys do for fun?" And like, "We're gonna go road packing." I'm like, "What is road packing?" They said it involves beer, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm there." So I learned all about road packing. We'd go up to Canada, because you only had to be 18 to drink. It's when you could just drive across the border and back. We always had a designated driver to get us there, and yeah, things were a lot simpler back then.
Sure.
Definitely. My aunt, it was funny, my favorite uncle married this girl, and my auntie Jeanette, and one day way back in the day, back in the late 80s, early 90s, she's like, I keep hearing about this road packing thing. I keep hearing about this road packing thing. She's like, "I think we should try it, but you're too young to drink, and I don't like to drink." So we went road packing with a 12 pack of Diet Coke,
Ah,
but we still had the same kind of conversations and the same kind of interactions that and that's what the road packing is
This
all.
is so
It's about just
it's
in a car drinking and getting to know each other. This is the
yeah,
conversation.
road tripping. Yeah,
Yeah.
back
yeah.
then, and it was funny because the road we never being from Thief River Falls, I was class of '83. We never said road packing. It was always road tripping or cruising around, whatever. But from Middle River north, especially the Warroad Roseau area, it was all road packing, road pack. But
Yep.
back then, most of
Yep.
the time, you could grab a case of the shittiest beer, get somebody to buy you some beer. Drinking age again was 19, but you just go cruise around out in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if you did happen to get pulled over, unless you were doing something really stupid, which most people weren't, because the worst thing they might be doing is smoking a joint. So they weren't doing anything dumb. They weren't doing anything crazy and stupid. They'd say, "Get your ass home. If I see you again, I'm hauling you in." And you'd say, "Yes, sir." And you'd go home. But yeah, it was road packing, road tripping, grab a
Or
case of
your
beer. You
dad.
might bring a spotlight and a 22, and shoot jackrabbits or gophers if it's during the day. You know, that's what we did up there, and everybody
Yeah.
left everybody alone, and it was not a big deal to see these high school kids doing this stuff. It's like, oh, they're just road packing. Wave, wave, you meet them.
You stay on the
Crack, you hear them
road,
shoot a gopher.
stay on the gravel roads. They about see the difference to me though between the road packing and the road tripping. A road trip is actually having an eventual destination that is probably at least an hour away. But road packing was just taking the gravel roads in the community.
Yeah, yeah, you Middle River and Roseau people were way more sophisticated with your speaking than we were.
I think I lived a boring life. I never heard of that in my life.
Yeah, he's out in Ohio. He's not even from Minnesota.
Right.
City.
Let's steer this back to our guest, Howard. Can you tell us what the book is about?
Absolutely, yeah. So the book is really just some simple principles of how exes can treat each other. And I mean, they're as simple as don't say bad things about your ex in front of your kids. Don't let other people talk down your ex, particularly in front of your children, because it just erodes you're still a parenting unit, whether you're together or not, whether you want to be or not. You're still a parenting unit, whether you're in the same house or not. And then removing harmful images, videos, text, pictures, get rid of all that garbage. It's in the past. That relationship is over. And those things are only going to serve to foster discord and discomfort in the relationship. And then don't say bad things, about your ex, and don't let other people say bad things. I mean, I had, and I think out of a good heart, right? I had family and friends who would kind of keep tabs on my ex, and they'd be giving me the info. And I'm like, you know what? If my kids are fine and there's no harm to them, I don't need to hear about it. It's just basically gossip. So those simple principles. And then the other big part of the book is kind of a journey through mental health for the caregivers that have went through the separation, because there's often a lot of trauma and different things. So it's a journey and with some simple skills and tips that a person can apply to help them mend their heart, right, and their emotions, and get past that and move on to life again, because it's a tragedy when you go through something like that typically, but the rest of your life doesn't have to be a tragedy.
Yeah,
you can turn it into lemonade, right? I mean, that's what I'm doing with the book, is I'm taking lemons and we're making lemonade, and that lemonade is going to help other people.
Yeah.
Oh my, Rose Girl just showed up. Rose Girl, Grand Forks, and we're going to get her on this podcast here within the next few weeks. Say hi, Angie. Hi. So, and another thing, as far as what you're talking about, I've seen some couples recently that I know about that are just posting their stuff on social media. Like the kids see this stuff. Like a lot of the kids nowadays, they don't do the Facebook thing. So the parents think, oh, well, we'll just put it on Facebook. And that's so harmful. It's
not only harmful, but it's stupid, for lack of a better term. I mean, it could come back to bite you from a legal standpoint. But I think in a deeper sense, what it does is it demonstrates that person hasn't got over it. They're still in the loss part of it. They're still in the angry part of it. They're still in the bitterness part of it. And that's all. You got to be able to move beyond that so you can focus on what's most important, and that's the kids. I mean, their well-being, their upbringing, their future is more important than mine as a parent, right? Because I want them to develop and grow, and I want them to learn from my mistakes, try not to repeat my mistakes, and then you do the same thing for your kids. So yeah, when I hear of, people who are still talking bad about their ex, or, I mean, my mom and dad are kind of a classic case. They got divorced back in like 72. I was born in 71. They got divorced 72. I think they still carried that bitterness for decades and decades and decades. And and maybe that's a big reason why I focus so much on the mental health, is trying to learn something the opposite of what my parents did that I feel is better, for myself and my children. But, to try to live with that baggage for decade after decade. I mean, wow.
Well, I
It's
did
I
that. Good, John. Good,
my
John.
parents divorced about the same time, except I was born in '65, but they couldn't be in the same county. They used us kids as crutches or levers to go against each other. Tell me, see what you guys think of this. My wife, her ex-husband stays here often. Well, not often, but it's not uncommon. We all get along great.
Well,
I
one thing
basically call our son. I've been with him since first grade, and he's 37 now, but we get along great. Yeah, they were married at one time. They had a son at one time, but it was never an issue. He moved finally from California to here. He got remarried and had another couple. He had twin boys in a second marriage, and I kind of got one of them uh, at, to get a goalie spot on a college up here. He's a hockey player, and they're still all around here, but we all get along great. It was never an issue. You know,
yeah.
it's like, Jesus, how can you have your wife's ex-husband stay with you? It's like, well, for one thing, should look at him. I mean, no, I'm just kidding. But great guy. They're not, and it's not all about them. It was always about the son, Alex. You know, and
Well, and that's
he thought we did a great job. It was all cool,
yeah.
and
I
that's
think that
rare.
that's the key right there is that Alex was put as the priority. And I think
Yeah,
when separated parents, divorced parents, maybe when they do that, it changes how they act, right? How they think, how they act, and you put the kids first. Yeah. I mean, I had a similar thing too. I mean, it doesn't happen overnight, but in the last 3 or 4 years, we had Christmas here. It was my ex-wife where we have our two daughters, and then it was my rebound relationship after my ex-wife with Ashley. My sons from her. I had the ex-wife, the ex-baby mama, the three kids, and myself, and I call it a modern family Christmas. And we did that a couple times, and we got along great. I mean, we watched old home videos, and we moved beyond it, and I hope it becomes more common. And I have
right.
some hope. I have some hope because the more that this book gets out there, the more I do hear positive stories like you have. And that gives me hope that there isn't just angry, bitter couples out there, but there's those who are putting the kids first.
Yeah,
We
my
kind of
ex-wife.
considered ourselves a dysfunctional, functional family, if
Yeah.
that makes any sense.
Well, you're uncommon, but you're uncommon in a great way, right? And I mean, I think the world could probably use a little bit more common sense. It seems common, but when you get all the emotions, you get the unresolved baggage in there, and then you end up with like what Mama T talks about, battle over
If
meta and
people
all
would
that.
just realize the kid had nothing to do with why you're not married anymore.
Right.
The kids have nothing to do with that. So
yeah.
leave them the hell out of it.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
Do what you got to do, but
when I left my ex-wife, I mean, I met my wife now. She's 17. She was 17 then. I was 30. You know, and they didn't get along at first, but then now from our grandson, I mean, we get along great. Like you just said, Howard, we have her up for Christmas and stuff like that. Sometimes she goes up for Easter, and I feel uncomfortable, but I know my grandson loves it. I know my daughter probably loves it. You know what I mean? And my wife and my ex-wife get along great. And she was just watching the show a little bit ago, and I just I know what you're saying, but when other people hear that, they go, "How the hell do you do that without a fight?" And you just got to make it happen. You just got to do
Yeah.
your best.
yeah.
You know,
I've been with my wife for 30 years now. So this was so long ago, and she had been divorced for a while before I met her, well, a little while.
mhm.
But so that was 30 years ago. So it's like, get over it. Everybody's grown up adults now. When they were little
Yeah.
kids, they're all grown up adults now. And we just we do the Christmases together like you guys are talking about. And we get invited to their stuff. They still come to our stuff. And he works part-time at Mills Fleet Farm in Fargo. And I wish we had one here, but this is the kind of guy he put me down as a family member, so I get the family discount. So I mean, my wife's ex-husband puts me down for the family discount.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
That is cool. In every without exception, every relationship that I got into or explored after I got divorced, they, without exception, the women thought that I wanted to get back together with my ex because of how well I treated her. And I had to explain over and over, I'm like, you have no, I said, I do it for my children. I don't have any interest at all in rekindling with her, in a relationship standpoint, but she is my children's mother. And I had,
Yep.
and
And you don't
same
want that to
thing.
rub off on the kids.
And
Yeah.
Yep.
so many new relationships, they're just so insecure. They're insecure about what your past is and who you are, because it's a new relationship. They don't know whether they can trust you, and the first thing they see is you trying to talk to your ex, and you're okay with it, and it's
It
difficult.
freaks them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's natural, right? I mean, and that's one of the lessons I had to learn is, okay, that's a natural reaction to that, because I would probably think the same thing, right? Like I started dating someone who just got divorced and they're really nice to their ex. Am I just being used kind of to get back with
Right.
the ex? So yeah, and with my son's mom, it happened because that was a relationship after I got divorced. And then over time, she saw it, right? The aha moment. She's like, "Oh, I get it now. You're really just doing this for your children." And so then we were able to work through that, but it was a big source of contention. That was before my son came along,
I
but
always worry about my ex-wife and my wife now, like compare notes about me. That's, you know what I mean? Like I told my wife, this is 12 inches. And
We know what you were.
What the hell? Sammy's gonna a penis joke in there for once.
I'm sorry.
A real question here. So the knowledge you got, all this knowledge you have about it, just from your personal experience. I mean, you went to school for marketing and
communications, yeah.
communications, and um, did you take any psychology classes or courses or anything like that? Like where did you get all the good knowledge you got to create this book, and what I'm going to call a template for exes getting along to raise the kids properly?
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. All of the book is firsthand accounts. Some happy, I say, some sad, but one of the things that I do in my communications is I practice what I call vulnerability. And so I make myself vulnerable. So I'm okay with, well, I get over the uncomfortableness of sharing those personal, embarrassing things because I feel it can help someone. In that process, it's already helped me, right? So, I mean, I went through the whole book living it. And so I've been able to benefit from it for a long time now. But, no, I mean, I don't believe there's such a thing as a self-made man. We're all influenced by people in our lives. There are people who are helping us along the way, whether we know it or not. I had a couple teachers in high school, a couple professors in college, different sales trainings that I went through, different mentors I've had. I'm close with my family members. I'm the youngest of six, so the great thing about that is they all had to take turns babysitting me and watching out for me. So I got a relationship with all of them. So to answer your question, I'm not a trained psychologist or anything like that. It's all written from first person perspective. I say right in there, I'm not a clinical psychologist or any of that, but I've lived it and I've seen the proof of it. And that's mostly evident in my mental health. And it's definitely evident in my kids' lives and how happy and healthy they are.
That's awesome.
Make sure you tell us before, in case any of us forget, how to order the book.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, just like to let us know how.
So the best way to order it is on my website, howardbrockhouse.com. It's just Howard, BROCK house.com. There's a link on there where to buy the book. If you buy it from that site, it's also much better for me as an author when it comes to royalties versus other sites, like 3 times more.
Sure,
So
yeah.
please get it from my website. but honestly, I don't care if you get it from Amazon or Walmart.com or BarnesandNoble.com. Just get it if you think it could help someone.
Well, and Howard, it's so easy for people to say, "Oh, you should just do it like this. You should just treat your ex like this. You should do it for the kids. You should." And then you practiced what you preached, and then you felt so inclined to share your positive successes with everybody else. So, bravo for that. I live in a world where the exes of the family that I know coexist in a very harmonious way, and
That's great.
it does seem rare, and it's nice to be a part of something that could be so negative, but they've chosen and worked at making it not that way. So
Yeah.
bravo for taking it one step further to put it in print, because if people could take the time, they're going to get something. Some
Yeah.
nugget will help them think about it when it comes to a situation, and they're going to bite that tongue more when they
Right.
want to say something. I've been in that boat.
Yeah.
Boy, do I want to say it right now. But
Yeah.
I know consequently I don't, I can't.
Yeah.
So bravo.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and it's a very short read, and it's just 3 simple principles, and then the big thing is putting them in action and then going through the mental health aspect. But it's only like 112 pages. It's funny because maybe there's a little narcissism in me, but I had to order my first copy for myself, right? So I get the print copy at the house. I'm so pumped. I'm so excited. And I started reading it, and I think I read it cover to cover in like 2.5 hours, 2 hours or something. I'm like, oh, it's not that long. And I had to remind myself it's purposely not that long, because you know what? We got so much going on in our lives. There's so much information going on. And I think just some simple, basic things are the best starting point for someone to be able to have a good relationship with their ex.
I got one more quick question here. So, what would be your advice for, okay, you have children with someone and it was a very toxic relationship, and the person was always just very paranoid and jealous, and like, this person is going to just keep on doing this. He's going, or her, posting or saying negative comments and poisoning the child. I mean, what kind of advice would you have for the other parent?
Well, I guess the first thing is that if there's something that could, be a basics for abuse of the children, that type of thing shouldn't be tolerated. And that's really where you need to bring in authorities, right? But I would tell that individual, focus on what you can control, and that's yourself. You can't control your ex. In fact, my ex-wife and I were not on the same page for the first few years. And it took us a few years to get on the same page where we were practicing the same things. But it took time, and it took a willingness, right, for both of us. And she had to move through her journey to get beyond us. I had to move through my journey to get beyond us. I'm just grateful that we had the kids, primarily at the forefront. But to answer your question directly, I mean, flatly, if there's ever anything that is in the form of abuse or harmful to the children or whatnot, it can't be tolerated. But beyond that, yeah, if that person's going to continue to do what they're going to do, you can't control it. You got to control yourself. That's a tough situation. And of course, let me put the little asterisks on there. I'm not a licensed psychologist or counselor. So
great advice, Howard.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that you joined us.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad. I'm sorry that you had to go through what you had to go through to learn what you had to learn, but that's life, isn't it?
Yeah, and I the older I am, the more I realize I'm a very slow learner. Like, I learn a lot of things the hard way, but once I got it, I got it. So I guess it's just kind of how I am wired, and that's okay.
And I kind
Absolutely.
of
And I feel like I knew you from back in the day. I do. I wonder because I used to go up there a lot back
Yeah,
then.
you
And my
you look
John Ralph
familiar. You know, I've been
isn't my
around here
real name,
since.
so we might have met in the past.
Yeah, that's
look
possible.
familiar.
You know, it's funny though, when you go to the Meadowbrook, you always would remember going there, but you would rarely remember coming home. It was that kind of place. So if we met early in the
Remember
evening,
the show.
sure, but after that,
Yeah, like just be friends again, I guess. Well, we appreciate you, Howard, and thanks again for spending some time with us. Honestly, because I think your message will definitely help a lot of people.
yes,
And
Thank you. Very interesting.
we
Thank
have people that listen on the best source every Saturday when we broadcast the repeat of this. So I think a lot of people even there will see your story,
Yes.
and who knows, maybe you'll see your back roll pretty quickly,
yeah. Well,
huh?
anyway, I really appreciated, meeting all of you and really appreciated this opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you.
problem. We're
Thank
happy
you.
to have you.
Thanks for joining us.
Hopefully, we
We
run into you
appreciate it.
thank
somewhere.
you.
Yeah.
All
I hope,
right.
I
Well, we
hope we
appreciate you, Howard.
came out there, man, for real.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll
Thanks a lot,
see you
Howard.
later.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave and then I'm going to pick it up on Facebook Live and watch your next guest. So,
Sounds good because
all
she's
right.
here.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Yep.
See
Yeah.
ya.
Thank you. All right, Lindsay, what's going on? Welcome to Renegade Radio. Your time is here now.
Yay!
We
Hey,
appreciate we appreciate having you to come on because I know a lot of people have been asking about your ideas and kind of your plan and what you want to do for the school board for Thief River Falls, and the reason why I'm allowing this to happen is because you and I go way back to the days of when we worked together at Wally's and
Yep.
those good old days, that that we covered here in the last episode of a couple weeks ago anyway, and how good of days they really were. But no, I really feel like you have you're the right person for the job, and I think whatever you have in store will be good. So the floor is yours.
Thank you. The main reason I started running, well, the idea to run came to my head was I started with all that anti-bullying stuff about 2 years ago now that was going on in Franklin when all those videos were popping up of all those kids fighting randomly.
Oh,
And
sure.
yeah, I remember
that,
those.
yeah, it was bad. And I started getting involved then is I started meeting with the then superintendent, Dr. Paula Henry, and she actually helped me realize that I'm kind of good at talking to people and getting them to see different sides of things and not to just lash out and be angry like we were doing, because I'm guilty too.
I think everybody is,
I got
Oh yeah.
I went through I interview a lot of people running for school board and things like that, and I went through the whole deal during the pandemic, especially there was a lot of homeschooling, and then when they came back, when they had all the rules and the social distancing and the way it screwed everything up. And I tell you what, back then they'd stream the school board meetings in Grand Forks. They'd stream them. So it was like, okay, get a case of beer and a bowl of popcorn. Here we go, school board meetings coming on, because it turned into a circus. It really was a circus, where there was threats and the police were involved and things. It got ugly and they wouldn't let people speak and blah blah blah. But what I want to ask you, Lindsay, is you got some pretty thick skin, because I mean, you guys got the referendum coming up. I'm from Thief River Falls, so I know I still keep track of the town, but you got a lot of stuff coming up. And do you have kids in school when you talk about the bullying? So what, how's all this going to work out for you?
Well, that was a whole bunch of questions all in one.
I told you.
I know I don't get much time,
Down
so
for it.
I've actually been going to the school board meetings and all the referendum meetings and trying to kind of take what all they are saying, and how I say it is I dumb it down. because there's a lot of things that even I don't understand. So I actually have to get a hold of the superintendent or somebody else and be like, hey, can you explain this to me better so I can explain it to everybody else? And
I'm sorry. You need to finish answering the question.
Yeah, let her finish it.
I had a light bulb above my head. I don't know if anybody saw it.
Yeah, remember the last interview.
I know with the operating levy, I've actually had a lot of people messaging me and asking me, how the math works, exactly how I'm figuring out my numbers and things like that. And I've had a few people tell me that my math was wrong, and it's like, no, we were both right, but we were figuring it out in different ways. Like they were taking the total of their property tax and taking a percent out of that. I'm taking a percent out of the total value of their home.
So kind of like new math versus old math.
Kind of, sort of.
Well, from what I looked into, if you have a $150,000 home in Thief River, it's going to cost you about $305 a year with a little bit of change. Now, for some people, $150,000 home is an okay home in Thief River. It's not bad. At least it wasn't back when I was there. But that could be a lot of money for some people, $305 a year. But then again, in my opinion, is that a lot of money if you have no kids in school and you have no skin in the game? But my goodness, people tend to forget too much that their kids are our future, and it's $305 a year. I mean, you're not going to cut teachers. You're not going to lose, more jobs, and because it's going to be almost $1 million in more cuts again next year, right?
Yep. It's actually over $1 million.
Okay. So are you for the referendum?
Yes. And it's not just because, I got kids in school and things like that. I don't want my kids to have larger classrooms because it's already hard enough for kids like mine to not be able to have the one-on-one with the good teachers. And what's going to end up happening is they're going to have to be so many cuts and things like that. And then we're not going to have good quality teachers, and all these kids are going to be miserable, and they're just going to move. They're not going to want to stay.
We're already losing all our teachers the way it is.
Exactly. And with the referendum,
at some point, nobody wants to be a teacher anymore.
Yep.
And that's a shame.
If the referendum passes, actually, with my house is valued at like $248,000, and my taxes.
You live in a nice house in Thief River.
I do.
Yeah.
And my taxes would actually go up only $326 a year.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's not bad. I mean,
no, not at all. And how it figured out is the school itself is only going to be, if the referendum passes and taxes jump up, the school itself is only getting less than 1% of that total amount.
Right.
It is being upped.
Yep.
And
I only have one more question. One more question, then I'm going to shut up. Are you related somehow through marriage or whatever to Hans?
That's Uncle Hans.
See, you guys all thought I was nuts a couple of weeks ago. What?
Well, we didn't know who you're talking.
Like,
we didn't know who you're talking about. I mean, I don't know. It's all.
He's the uncle-in-law.
Yeah, he'd be on her husband's side.
Well, I knew, but when you said Gregory, I figured he was the only one I know that had that last name. So I figured you had to somehow be related through marriage or whatever. But tell him I said hi. I don't know if he knows he would know me as my real name, but tell him Robbie said hi.
Okay.
And see,
all right.
When Sean told me that you were going to be our guest, I was like, God, I know her. How do I know her? And at first I was thinking, I think maybe I know you through your mom, maybe.
Yep.
But then the little light bulb that came on earlier. You know little Bobby too. You knew little Bobby too.
Yes, I was the white sister he never wanted.
That's the one. Everybody had a nickname. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Click. All the Legos are connecting. Sorry.
Yeah, a lot of Legos. Small world, man. I tell you.
It really is. Like how we were talking with Lance earlier, and he was talking about this factory that's outside his place in this one town, and I was like, in this one random town in Washington, that's where my oldest child lives.
Oh, geez.
So, well, who knows? I mean, you never know. I mean, I don't know how big of a town ever it is, but back to you there, Lindsay. I mean, with you and I, we go back to the days of Wally's, and you made your way from Rose to the Thief River. I mean, tell the audience a little bit about you. I mean, like other than just what you plan on doing for the school, but like what do you want people to know about you?
Yeah, your background and
Well, I just kind of keep moving west. I was born in Baudette, and I went to school there until, oh gosh, I think it was third grade when we moved to Warroad.
Okay,
Oh, fourth grade. Fourth grade is when I moved to Warroad. And then I went to Warroad from fourth to seventh grade. And then from eighth to graduation, I was in Roseau.
sure.
and what years
So
were that? Was that
what year did I graduate?
what years did you go to school in Rose?
Yeah.
In Roseau? Uh, well, I was 14, so 2003 to 2007.
Yeah,
You
because you were
probably
pretty young
my
at that
oldest
time.
daughter,
Yeah.
Janet All.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Lives out in
And then,
everyone. Now. See, I'm sorry. This is supposed to be all about you and platform and yeah. Let's switch it to that.
Well, she was trying to tell us about herself. Yeah.
Oh, I'm just
Just have
oh,
a drink.
so-
Have a drink. Or a
okay.
cigarette.
I'll sip my wine and smoke my cigarette and let Lindsay talk. I'm sorry.
All right, Lindsay.
And by the way, if you guys don't know anything about Roseau, Minnesota, Miracle on Ice, the big picture where they show them gathering around the net, you see the number, the name Broughton on the back, Neil Broughton, Roseau, Minnesota. Yeah, they got pretty good hockey
Oh
players
yeah,
come out
everybody
of
knows that.
that little town.
His dad was my
Yeah,
subscriber, Noel.
yeah. That's right. I woke up on the water tower in Roseau.
Oh boy.
Remember that story, Sean?
That's right. Yeah, I remember you telling me that. Now let's continue to learn about Lindsay. She's our guest tonight, our main attraction here. I mean, I put you in the big spotlight because I feel like you deserve it. I've known you for a little while. I know we don't know each other that well, but we've seen each other passing, and every time we do, it's always a good time. And I
always.
always feel like you're always jolly, maybe a little too jolly. You kind of remind me of those people that you work with that have too much optimism for the day. Like, oh, you having a good day? You need this, you need that. Oh, it's just a wonderful day. It's just a wonderful day.
It's the
And I think about you.
88B.
What platform are you running for, and why should people vote for you?
There you go.
I pretty much the reason why I started to run is because I realized that I've actually helped quite a bit of people understand more about the school and how things work. And when it comes to stuff, I don't back down. If I need to get information to somebody, I will find the way to do it. And poor Dr. Mills, I think when he sees my name pop up in his email, he probably cringes a little now, but I talk to him at least 3 times a week.
If he hasn't blocked you yet, you're still good.
Yep. I've only been blocked from a couple things on Facebook, like that one site.
Isn't that terrible? You speak your mind and you have your own opinion and the right to free speech, and Facebook says no, that's false information.
Yeah, no, you're wrong. But what? I got facts. No, you don't. Okay.
Yeah, they're not our facts.
I know there's
Exactly.
a guy. I saw his post again today. He's from Thief River, and if you said his last name, I know it. But he's been blasting stuff anti, voting against it for a couple of months now. But
Is it Jaden Langley?
I don't know if he's even got any kids though.
Oh, Canada,
But
I
I
know
saw
Canada.
another post about it today.
Yeah, I've been
But I
seeing.
don't know. I mean,
Oh, I've been seeing quite a few things that people are very anti for the referendum because they either know a lot of people on like a fixed income, which I completely understand, even if it goes up by like $20 a month for those people, that's still $20 that could go towards food or something else they need.
Yep.
And that's where the catchy part is, and why being so emotional really sucks. I think they've seen me cry a couple times.
Thing? Yeah.
That's already going to be upped again, which I don't know if that's actually been proposed or released yet. Or I know things that I'm not sure I'm supposed to know or not. So
yeah, no, I get it.
Well, I mean, there's a lot
benefit of being me.
There's a lot of shadiness that goes on with Thief River too. I mean, we all know it. I mean, it's just how it goes. We know who are the favorites and who aren't.
Called politics, kids.
Well, whatever.
It's called politics.
It's called
here in East Grand Forks too.
It's called bullshit, is what it is. There's a lot of
That's
it.
what's nice about being me. A lot of people trust me, and they know if they tell me something in confidence, it's going nowhere. And that's why I know so much that I do, and how I can help so many people is because even if like person A told me something about person B, I'm not going to run to person B or even to a person C and be like, oh my God, guess what? No. Any questions anybody has for me?
Oh, I know. I mean, that's what I do. I have so much stuff told to me off the record where it's going to be, I can have a conversation with somebody and say, oh no, I know you're wrong. And I have the proof. I just can't tell you about it.
Yep.
And it sucks because you got to bite your tongue. But,
I mean, at the last referendum meeting, I had another school board member pat me on the shoulder and tell me that they were proud of me for not swearing.
We have to tell Mama T that all the time. No,
I did something to my phone, so now all I can see is my own. Oh wait, maybe it's sad. Maybe that.
Yeah, swipe.
I don't. I tried swiping. I tried this. Oh, there we go. No, Okay, we from the start of the show, I'm not very technologically inclined.
We know.
Yes.
We know.
Have you been pounding on doors, Lindsay? Have you
Not
been
yet.
knocking on doors?
I actually have been waiting for some stuff. I got my flyers done, and now today I got my buttons and my koozies. So now I can go around and do that stuff because I'm going to use whatever donations I get from those and actually use for my yard signs.
Let's tell everybody one more time what you are running for specifically.
I'm running for one of the 4-year positions on the Thief River Falls School Board.
And
when you talked about these people patting you on the back, if you have any of those people that people know real well in Thief River to endorse you, that would be huge. I mean, I don't know what Thief River's like now. I know how cutthroat it gets, especially for a school board. It's crazy.
Yep.
But if you can find somebody that'll endorse you, that's just going to it'll make it that much easier for you. So
I've been really surprised at the amount of people that just randomly come up to me and tell me how proud they are of me. And I'm not even quite sure who some of them are. I've had a few teachers say that, they've had people come to them and tell them how much I've grown as a person and how much better I'm doing at communication and getting facts right instead of just lashing out like I used to do, because I would just get mad and start yelling.
And see, and that, buddy, before when we were during the pre-show, when we were talking about the guests that were going to be here tonight, and I was like, this girl, she's not a politician. Like, a politician is not going to admit that they were wrong or say, somebody gave me bad information or blah, blah, blah. They're not going to correct themselves. And with that one post you had about the cameras in the bathrooms, you got on that immediately. Immediately went on there and you were like, nope, they posted that wrong. I'm sorry I posted this. Politicians don't apologize.
Yeah.
Got on there immediately and you were like, I, this is the correct wording. The wording was wrong, and you got on top of that right away.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was written that way. Like I read it too fast. So then one of my friends pointing it out to me, I was like, "Oh my God." Like, no.
And the thing is too with Minnesota, the way the politics is, and you hate to bring this into something in education, but it is education now. It's the education system is pushed by it. But when you've got the kids, if they're under 18, all they have to do is go find a lawyer, and they basically can write off on getting a gender transformation surgery done, and they're putting female feminine hygiene products in men's bathrooms, in the boys' bathrooms, because the governor mandated it and all these things. Their school boards are messing, they're having to deal with shit that you shouldn't have to deal with. Whatever
Yep.
happened to the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic? Now all this stuff is just so far gone. It's like, well, oh no, she's a kitty and we need to have a litter box for her today. It's
Uh,
getting beyond the education part of
Cats
it,
and
and it's
dogs don't go
ridiculous.
to store. Don't Cats and dogs aren't allowed in school,
Oh,
and
depends on where you live.
then
Depends on where you
yeah,
live.
let's okay. If you're a cat or you're a dog, then you can stay at home like a pet, and then your parents can be charged for truancy.
I did a show with an higher education person last week, and this was North Dakota numbers, but they were talking about how there's only like 14% of teachers in North Dakota really want to teach, can only teach the way they really want to. The other like 70 whatever percent aren't allowed to. And I don't even know, that's North Dakota numbers. I would imagine Minnesota numbers are even worse than that. I mean, they're wiping out history, they're wiping out everything and changing things. It would just, I like I said at the very beginning, you got to be pretty thick skinned to be doing this, and hats off to you. I'm really confident you're going to win.
It's very, very wordy on it's a bunch of word games is what it is on what you can and cannot do.
Mm-hmm.
And like all the fights that were going on in the middle school, everybody was complaining, that the teachers weren't doing anything and they weren't stepping in. Legally, they
They're not allowed to.
cannot.
Yep.
They can't.
There,
Their hands
there's
are
like
tied.
I
two or
was
three
bullied in
people
school.
that can. That's
I was
it.
bullied in school. My daughters were bullied in school. My nieces were bullied in school, and the whole Mean Girls stuff. It just blows my mind that as far as we are advanced, you'd think that us as a society would be getting smarter, and woke is not the answer.
No.
Unless woke means that you're actually open-minded and you understand that yes, everybody has a different viewpoint. However, that doesn't mean you're right.
Yep.
That doesn't mean, all of this society bullcrap about not being offensive. You know what? Put on your big girl panties, go out there and grow a pair, because you got to survive in the world. And when we got all this woke bull crap, when we got all of this, I'm not thinking of the term right now. It's probably the way. It happens once in a while. But when we get to this point as a society that we can't even say two words to each other without somebody being offended, like that's not being woke. That's not growing as a society, as a community, as a nation. When the nation is just pitting each other against each, I'm just going to keep on
Lindsay,
I know
going
I
on
lost
with that
some.
because
Margie
there's
has
a
lots to
lot
say.
there.
I had a biology teacher in Thief River back in the early 80s, and you could do the research. This guy actually hung a guy out the third floor window by his ankles, a teacher. And he
It wasn't
punched
Michael
me in the
Jackson.
chest so hard one time. He got me cheating. He punched me in the chest so hard. And to this day, I probably had more respect for him. And he was a big influence on my life. But compared to what they're dealing with now, compared to them, I mean, back then it was cut and dry. Now, like you said, you can't even say anything to these kids if they do something wrong. I mean, these kids could wail on a teacher, and a teacher, they can't do anything.
They have.
Yep.
And who wants to do that for the squat money they're making?
Let's go
Exactly.
back to
But
the old
Oh,
school.
teachers are
yeah.
rich, you know.
Let's go back to the old school.
Yeah.
Let's pay these
Oh, yeah.
teachers what
They're
they're
look,
worth
yeah. Yeah.
and let them do their job.
I know I
not the
lost some
parents'
brownie
Nobody
job,
wants
of
to be
course.
teachers anymore.
Right.
Nobody wants to be a teacher anymore.
I
Because
know
It's
I
a
lost
shame.
some brownie points and I gained them when I said that parents need to parent.
and
This
as
whole
Oh, it all
gentle
starts at home.
parenting thing, gentle parenting does not
Well, they
work
don't
for
make
feral children.
kids like they used to. Bullshit. It starts at home.
I
I
love
have
that.
That's what I
feral
tell everybody.
children. I cannot
Yes.
gentle parent my feral children.
Yes.
It's not
Oh.
possible.
Get
I
off
had to put
the
the
screen
fear.
for a while.
I had to put the fear of God into my oldest because she was bullying for a little bit, and I was bullied in school, and I instantly snapped. So she got to not only go over to that other kid's house and apologize to them face to face, but she got in. It was ridiculously grounded.
That's good. Like you don't see parents like that, and teachers
Bravo.
can't do it anymore. I mean,
Yeah, no.
that's what I mean. Put your big girl panties. That's how we got to where we are. All the people on this panel and you, we got to where we were. We where we are as human beings, as mature adults, because we had discipline. We
Respect.
had to go through the hard times to freaking learn what we know right now.
The biggest
And
thing lacking now is respect.
Oh, absolutely.
it's not allowed.
Oh,
It's not allowed.
Which is
Who brings their
ridiculous.
cats
I
and
had
dogs to
it.
school anyway?
it's not taught.
Who brings their
Nobody
cats and
teaches
dogs to
respect
school? I
to
want to know
kids
that
anymore.
one.
Hey, some people
I love
do.
cats and I love dogs, especially with barbecue sauce and mashed potatoes.
It was a duck, not a dog. Oh my God.
And I'm a dog person. God darn it, that stuff pisses me off.
I love dogs. I love dogs. I can't stand cats. Like
They're
you
good
guys
with mashed
heard me
potatoes. That's all
earlier.
I know. It's excellent. It's excellent.
Well, these
I mean,
two have
maybe
met our
if the
dogs.
barbecue
They've
sauce is
met
good enough,
Lewis
but
and
no.
Wally before.
Oh yeah, I love those dogs. Well, Lindsay, we appreciate your time. We don't want to hold you up any longer. You know, we've been on for about 2.5 hours total is normally the runtime when we have two guests on. So for anybody that wants to
Make sure you share this.
yes, please share the video. But for anybody that wants to show their support to you, how can they do that other than voting for you? How can they actually show support to you?
I actually have a couple posts out where if you want buttons or koozies or anything, I have my contact information on there, my Venmo. And I'm always just randomly out in town. Feel free to stop me if you see me.
Can you throw it in in the comments on the show here after we're done?
Yep.
Throw all the links down there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just appreciate you. And we hope that this video, or not this video, but this episode of having you on the show tonight will help get people thinking anyway. You know, I mean, it's not going to probably it's probably not going to, I don't know how big it'll do on the polls, but you never know. I mean, it's still a month and a half away. You know, a lot
Right.
could happen. It's the same election around election time with the president or presidential election, right?
November 5th.
Okay, perfect.
I'm excited. I know I'm not going to change the world in one day, but I
No.
know I can definitely make those steps possible by being as pushy as I am and relentless.
Are you doing any debates at all with other school board members, or is that a different process?
Well, I was told that there are debates that do happen, and usually they're thrown by the TRF radio, but I haven't heard anything about that.
Okay.
And usually, I know the past events were at the Carnegie, but this last one here was actually at the Eagles, I think it was, because it got so big.
Oh yeah, I suppose so.
Yep.
All right.
So I'm
All right.
hoping they do.
Well, like I say, we appreciate you, and thanks to everybody for tuning in tonight to season 3, episode 10.
Go get
Uh,
him, Lindsay. Go get him.
next week we'll be joined by Tracy Morgan, not the comedian, but the actual author from the United Kingdom, and we'll learn about
Tracy.
John Candy. And we'll want to thank Mama T, Lance Warlock, Screaming Sam, John Roberts, Lindsay, Eric Antique Adams, and Howard Brockhouse for being a part of the show tonight. And I'm Frankie Sauce, we'll see you next week for another great edition of Renegade
Thank you,
Radio.
guys.
What?
Yeah, if you need to see a replay, how do people see a replay of this?
How do they see a replay? Well, they check us out on the live video that's will be on demand after this video is done,
Share.
or you wait until Saturday and you see the replay on Grand Forks Best Source
Grand Forks Best Source.
At 7 o'clock. So, all right, everybody, we'll see you
Put
next
your
time.
dogs and cats away. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.